actually streaming on Twitch, or if there's sound, or what's happening over on Twitch, because all I'm seeing is a big black box right now. And the thing some on was, all right, fine, I will reload the freaking page and see if it loads. Now, there it is. There's my pretty face. Okay. And we have sound. Excellent. All right. And Dementia Radio now. And recording in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, why is there no sound to that? That's because I forgot the thing. There we go. Let's do that again.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
We lost Luke.
We lost Luke.
We lost Luke immediately.
No! What are we going to do?
The last thing we heard was Qbert, don't sit on that, and apparently he sat on it.
Poof. Luke is gone.
We're off to an auspicious start for this episode.
Yeah.
The government kidnapped him and forced him to work in the post office some more.
We were waiting for Jeff Morris, who's going to be joining us. He's having some technical difficulties. And then we were like, this is going to be a long episode. We might as well just get started, and Jeff can join us whenever he gets his issues sorted out. So we started, and then we lost Luke. So I'm sure...
Of course we did.
I'm sure Luke will be back. In the meantime, I am joined by Insane Ian. Hi, Ian.
Hello. Hi, it's me. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
And Tony Goldmark. Hey, Tony.
Howdy do. Don't forget to go demented.
Yay. And as I said, we'll be joined by Jeff Morris once he figures out how to get Chuck's laptop working. And
presumably Luke.
And presumably Luke, yes. And we will have a pre-recorded interview with Bad Beth and Beyond coming up later in the show. And welcome to episode 800 of the Funny Music Podcast.
Woo!
The title of this week's episode is Wrong Taboo, and your job is to work that into our conversation somehow. Now, being episode 800, I have put together a clip of some highlights from episodes 700 through 799. Then I will be playing that later in the show. That is 33 minutes long. So, folks, between the Dr. Demento talk, Tony's 8.5-minute song, talking about his song, and the highlights clip, there's going to be a long one, so settle in.
Oh, the lighting's appropriate now.
Yes, that works. That works beautifully. So, should I start, or should we wait for Luke?
Let's go. Let's start with you.
Yeah, let's start with me.
What have you been up to this week, Devo?
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
I don't think we've ever had Luke bail on the show after the show started, but before the catch-up segment. I think this is a first.
Oh, there he is.
Here he is.
Luke is back. Hi, Luke.
He's got no microphone yet, but...
we can't hear you, Luke. You're muted.
Can't hear you.
Luke.
You're muted, Luke. There we are.
You okay?
So, yeah, something bumped my computer and all the power went out of it, and now I'm trying to turn it back on, and it's not going back on. So,
Oh no.
That's lovely.
So I don't want to delay the show, so let's keep it going.
Okay, so you figure that out. I'll do my catch up first, and then we'll catch up with you. Because it's my show.
You have 3 others.
I know. Anyway, I had an in-person audition on Tuesday that I had to go into New York City for. And that was for a major cola brand. You have a 50-50 shot of guessing which one. Because there's only 2, folks. This is America. There's no competition anymore.
If you're on his Discord, you know which one.
Yes, if you're on my private Devo Spice Discord, just for my Patreon backers, you know which one. yeah, so I went in for the audition, and it went okay. I don't think it went particularly great or anything, but it was the type of thing where I was in and out in about 2 minutes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because the guy in front of me who was auditioning for the exact same role, I know because he was dressed exactly like me. He was in and out in under 2 minutes too. So it was just a quick audition. There's no dialogue or anything. It was just a couple subtle reactions, and that was the end of it.
What you don't realize is that he wasn't up for the same role as you. He was up for the same role of you. That's why he was dressed like you.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that explains some things.
All these music stars selling out, doing soda commercials.
Right?
It's sickening, really. Neil Young's gonna write a song about you. God
if they want to pay me however many tens of thousands of dollars they would have to pay me to license one of my songs for a commercial, I would be all for it. You want me to parody my own song about a major soda brand? I will do it. I have a price, and right now it ain't that high.
A major soda brand is even more expensive than a major soda brand.
That's true.
Yes, because they used the money they saved from that little curve on the D to make it an L, and that's what they can use to pay you.
So I had 2 other auditions come through, like in rapid succession, and one of them was for a TV show that I would absolutely love to get onto, and it's actually the second time I've auditioned for this TV show, which I'm taking as a good sign. I didn't get the part last time I auditioned, but the fact that they invited me for another role implies that they liked what I did and just found somebody else who was more appropriate for the role. So for this one, because I wanted to put my best foot forward and, absolutely not screw this up, I emailed my acting teacher, and I'm like, hey, can you help me? Coach me through this. So I actually went to the school last night and did the audition there with my acting teacher directing me and filming me. And I think I'm really glad I did it, because I had an idea what I wanted to do for this character, and I ran it by him, and he was like, yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly how you should approach this. And then I started doing it, and he was like, no, more. You got to give me more. He kept, asking me to, pull more out of the character. And I think if he wasn't there doing that, I would have underplayed the character, and I don't think it would have worked. But the footage looks really good. He needs a new camcorder, but the performance is good. So I think the next time we have let's all chip in some money and get Josh a present, it's going to be a new camcorder, because yeesh. So we sent that in today, and the deadline is tomorrow at noon, so we're not going to hear back anytime soon. But yeah. So wish me luck on that one. That I'd much rather get that one. Yeah, I'd much rather get that one than the soda commercial. I'll take both, but And then I had another audition which came through, which was they described it as a parody of those late night lawyer ads, have you been injured, on where it's really bad acting and stuff. So they wanted. The script said shouting, but they said do 3 takes and don't shout in all 3 of them. So I did one where I was shouting I was hoping Shoebox was on, because when I lived in Rochester, there was a lawyer who went by Jim the Hammer Shapiro, and he was tough on insurance companies, and call 1-800-546-7777. That's 1-800-546-7777. I saw this commercial so many times, 25 years ago, I still remember his damn phone number. So I did one like him, and then I did one what was the guy from Spatula City, Cy Greenbloom or whatever?
Cy Greenbloom, yeah.
Greenbloom, yeah. So I did one like him, and then I did one where it was overly melodramatic soap opera type thing, and all 3 of them came out really funny, So maybe I'll get one of those. Who knows? So I've just been doing a lot of auditioning.
Oh no, 2 Lukes! Ah!
I'm confused.
Now it'll be number 8 on the Dr. Demento countdown if there's 2 of them.
Yeah, right. One
That's
Luke
how
ski
that
is
works,
enough,
right?
really.
Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of all I've been up to. I listened to the final Dr. Demento show over the weekend, but we'll talk about that later. So, Luke, what you been up to?
Mostly working, but also applying for the new health insurance. And after going through all of the information, it turns out that my option was 1. I had 1 option, which kind of defeats the purpose of the word option, but whatever. I just need
Your
to sign
option
up
is take it or leave it. Those are your options.
The choice is fish.
Exactly. Your choice is fish. That was going through my head all week. I'm like, who's going to remember your choice is fish? And it's Tony Goldmark. That's a bit from a Henry Rollins spoken word thing talking about being on tour.
Hey, man, be drinkable.
Yeah. So, anyway. So I got signed up for that. I got a suit that Kalani paid for because I'm gonna be her date to the wedding she's in. Hey, look, it's Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, we have Jeff.
It worked.
I think it is me.
It is
Now
you.
everybody's here.
Oh, now Angel is calling me. Why is she calling me?
Well, you figure that out. Luke is telling us about health insurance.
Yeah.
So,
Jeff, are you happy with your health insurance provider? Luke has a sales pitch for you. But never mind.
I'm just fascinated by his red hooded sweatshirt. Dip. Anyway, so I got a suit, and there'll be pictures of that eventually. The wedding is a week from Saturday, so because I need that specific day off, that means I have to work 10 days in a row.
Oof.
So today is day 2 of working 10 days in a row, but
Oy.
whatever. At least I'm still not, happy about the employment situation, but I've finally hit the point where my body has gotten used to what this job is, and then additionally the new shoes I got with the insoles that I bought extra, like my feet aren't as hurting as much anymore. I'm not as sore anymore from doing this. I mean, it's still a tiring job, but I can deal with tired. It was the pain that was bothering me. So I'm finally at the point where it's like, okay, I can do the job. Showing up and physically doing it isn't a problem. The only problem left is that sometimes it's incredibly frustrating. But, I think every job at some point is going to be incredibly frustrating. Yesterday was a good day because I got to be the person who, operates the machine that, dumps things onto a conveyor belt. So basically, my job was push a thing into a thing, put the lock bar down, stand over here. And, wait for the guy on the other side to unload it, 2 or 3 minutes later, and then he presses his button, the other side comes back down. Anyway,
Wasn't that the job that Porky and Daffy had in that movie?
In the day the Earth blew up.
Yes.
Yeah, Powerhouse by Raymond Scott just goes through your head the whole day. Dun dun dun.
didn't get to use a large mallet or anything.
Ow. Well, that's just malpractice.
That's mallet practice.
Ah.
What the hell else did I do? I made a to-do list and basically tried to get as much stuff done as I possibly could. Oh, I filmed a cameo for the Escape from the Secret Lab. So at some point in the future, on an episode of Escape from the Secret Lab, I'll be the cameo person who shows up when Dr. Pinkerton asks somebody's opinion on what should happen to the band or whatever. So,
Cool.
Have that to look forward to. And I posted my reaction video, which we can talk more about later, so that we can get on to other stuff. So yeah, who's next in the what have you been doing lately roundup?
Why don't we talk to Jeff? Hi, Jeff.
What have I been doing lately?
Yeah.
For the past several months, all I've been doing pretty much is Dr. Demento, writing and editing and everything else, basically.
So it's the Jeff Morris show more than it is the Dr. Demento show these days.
Well, kind of. I mean, obviously, Barry always had final approval on everything,
Of course,
yeah. And no, I don't think I ever submitted a script that didn't go through modifications after he read it. I'm mostly cutting out some things, but then occasionally during the recording session, he would ad lib a few things. I think on the last show on the top 40, he cut one line and then I want to say ad libbed a couple very short lines, but basically all that was written by me. So,
well, we appreciate all your hard work. Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Now your job's not getting any easier now that he's retired, right? Because you're still.
It is getting easier because I don't have to write new shows. The writing of that last show was about 20 hours in total.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And then then there's the editing and the whole thing of gathering all those sound bites. So there were 110 files that I edited together in the final mix, and that does not include all those little number bumpers. Those are all counted as one file because I did that a day or two earlier, mixing all those together.
Jeff, at some point, I would love to see just somewhere, even if it's just for the Facebook group or something, an annotated list of where you got every soundbite for the numbers. That would be fantastic. I recognized some of them here and there, but some flew over my head. So
yeah, I was thinking about posting that, and I don't know. I have not had a chance to read all the comments on Facebook or something, and so I don't know if people have been asking about that. But what I have to post next is the top 100 artists, because today I finally got the top 100 songs out.
Cool.
So I got top 100 songs out, because I felt like I had to provide some explanations of a few things, and then the top 100 artists, I've got a few explanations I need to provide about combining certain things into one, like all the there's Guns N' Moses, there's Traveling Pillsbury's, there's a bunch of different names they went under. Well, those are all counted as one artist because it's really the same people just under different names,
right?
And things like that. So I just need to do explanations of that. But yeah, I was thinking of posting that if anybody was interested. I think the majority of those are songs that Barry has played. Occasionally, I'm sure there's a few in there that he hasn't played, and there's one I know for sure that he hasn't played, but the artist has been played. But I think it would be a challenge for people to figure it out, and that's number 31. There's a couple that are really hard to understand. Number 38, unfortunately I didn't find any song right off that had 38 in it, so I took 30 from one place and 8 from another place. But the 8 is almost impossible to understand, and so. I should have looked. If I had looked a little harder, I could have found a song with 38 in it, I'm sure. But I just was at a stopping point. And I was like, I got my list. Let me do this. And I was like, oh, crap, it doesn't work. And then number 14 was fine. It's a number 14. It's just that it goes by so fast that I felt it didn't land very well. But most of them were good, I thought. So anyway.
Now, be honest, Jeff. Did you put your thumb on the scale at all to get Amish Paradise at number 27?
Nope.
Wow,
that's a total coincidence.
That's amazing.
I was very surprised that happened, but that's just how the numbers rolled. So the numbers came out.
Kismet is what it is. Amazing.
Yeah,
I love how you edited together every time Al said 27 in a song.
That was just fantastic. About to say that.
Yeah, there's a few times I did more than one soundbite. That was one, and then number 13, I put like 3 things in number 13, and there were 6 in number 27, and then I don't know if there's one more or not, but anyway, yeah, because I had a list of things, and sometimes I was like, okay, which one works better, which one, and like, oh, I'll use this artist here, or whatever, and make it work out. But then, yeah, that one I was determined to, I'm going to put all the 27s.
Of course. How do you pick one?
Yeah, exactly.
This 27 is better than that 27.
Well, I remember
this one's such a great 27. It's 28.
Yeah, it goes one higher.
I remember on the Looney Bin, Tony, you did a whole bit that was meant to be kind of like a.
It was an Unsolved Mysteries parody, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, where it was supposed to be.
But it was just me spouting nonsense about the number 27 and its supposed significance.
Well, it was more like kind of like, aliens are real, like one of those specials.
Yeah.
A big conspiracy, and then you had your own mashup of a bunch of different 27s from that.
That's right. I vaguely remember that, yes.
The good old days.
Luke eating off his shirt.
Yes.
That wasn't the good old days. That was now.
Nope.
3 seconds ago.
That was the good old present.
So, Ian,
No,
what have you
that-
been up to?
No, Al didn't say 27 in that song. No, sorry, go on. Good old, never mind.
Right, true.
Ian.
What have I been up to? Hi.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you, I've had a ton of auditions lately.
Awesome.
I had.
Let's actually
3
book something, shall we?
Yes, please, God, let me book something. Holy shit. Yeah. No, I've been doing a bunch of auditions. And this past weekend, I went to Chronicon, which is the Kevin Smith, Jay and Silent Bob convention that was in Jay and Bob Reboot and is now a real convention. This was the second year for it. It's held in Rosemont, which, convenient for me, is 15 minutes from my house. So that was super fun. And met Kevin Smith and Jay Muse at the con. It was the Mallrats 30th anniversary of Mallrats. So Jason Lee was there, Jeremy London, Joey Lauren Adams, Renee Humphreys, Ethan Suplee, and also randomly Jamie Presley was there because Jamie Presley, Jason Lee, and Ethan Suplee were in My Name Is Earl. So it was a mini My Name Is Earl reunion as well. So it was really, really cool. It was a really cool weekend. Kevin remembered me from years ago, as I used to write for his website. I used to do the video game reviews for moviepoopshoot.com back in the day, and he apparently remembered me, and we had a good chat about things. It was a fun weekend, and beyond that, it's just been auditions, and I went to the dentist today. That was a thing. And stuff's happening.
Indeed. Stuff is good. I like stuff.
I like stuff and things. I'm on the 30th. I'm playing with MC Lars, former Fat Boys and Problems, out at the Chop Shop here in Chicago.
Nice.
So I'm trying to promote that show a ton. So there's video of that up on my various socials, and also the video I wrote. The song I wrote about Dr. Demento, What the Doctor Ordered, that was here on the FuMP a couple weeks ago. I did a short 1-minute video for TikTok and whatnot, and it blew up on TikTok.
Nice.
I had a ton of folks in the comments just saying, "Oh, I remember the Dr. Demento show. Oh, I can't believe he's retiring." And I, of course, directed them all to the website and whatnot. And a lot of people were leaving really great memories. This is the video I've gotten the most comments on out of my entire video posting on TikTok. And also, it hit 10,000 views in like 2 days.
Nice.
So it really blew up all over there, which is, it's small numbers comparatively, but like big numbers for me.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a ton of followers now. My followers have finally surpassed who I follow, which is nice. It's nice when the other number is bigger than the one number. So, but yeah, it's worked out really well, and I'm gonna keep posting things on stuff because that's what I do.
Yeah, I got to get back to doing those videos. I've just been so busy. I haven't had a chance to. But
can I just say, I was waiting for somebody to say no, there isn't time. Can I just say, just a comment, Tom, your voice, or Devo, your voice is much louder than everyone else's, and I don't know where mine falls. But I didn't know if that was normal or.
Well, I can adjust if you need me to.
I actually turned it down compared to what it normally is.
It's not sounding louder to me, but I'm
okay. Well, then it's just me. Then don't worry about it.
I could turn myself down a bit.
Devo's a little louder to me, but it's not a big deal.
Okay.
It's always tough because like Zoom doesn't allow me to do individual volume controls. I think Zoom OBS, not Zoom OBS, Zoom OSC, I think it's called, is like another version of Zoom that might do that, but nobody's been able to give me a straight answer yet. So I'm like, before I pay for that, I want to kind of find out for sure. So, but someday I'll figure out a way to do this. Or maybe I'll just write my own plugin for Zoom and do it myself.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I wrote my own plugin for OBS to send metadata to Demento Radio, and I got that working. So
nice.
All right, Tony, what have you been up to?
I too went to the dentist recently. just last week. So that was not fun exactly, but it was what it was. Beyond that, I'm basically I obviously released the song on Friday, released it to my YouTube channel as well. Been getting some good feedback off that. And just slowly editing my podcast like I always do. So I
definitely worth pointing out, you posted the Who Framed Roger Rabbit episode, which is the longest episode you've ever put out, and it's one of the best. That is thoroughly comprehensive and amazing. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
It's as comprehensive as I could think of in the moment, but I gotta say, a lot of people sent me comments like, "Hey, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention that." There's so much to talk about with Roger Rabbit, and there's some stuff I'd never even heard of. So whatever. I'm not the only podcast out there.
So do you have a direct connection to Gary K. Wolf? Like,
I am Facebook friends with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you sent him like a link to the episode or anything?
I tagged him in my Facebook post about it. So cool. Yeah, he saw that post on Facebook at the very least. So that's nice.
Like there sometimes a person has someone from my past once referred to me as an Uncle Rico because which is a character from Napoleon Dynamite who only talks about, when the one time he did something in high school football and was like a high school football star. So basically, because all I would talk about was being on Mighty Magiswords, that I was, Uncle Rico-ing about Mighty Magiswords. So I kind of came to the conclusion that Gary K. Wolf is the patron saint of Uncle Ricos.
He's earned that, though. I think.
I mean, yes, he's earned it, but
if your one big thing in life is Who Framed Roger Goddamn Rabbit, you've earned the right to ride that coattail till the day you die, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
And imagine being in a position where hundreds, if not thousands, of women every month or year are sending you pictures of them looking like a knockout, entirely consensually without you asking, like, "Oh, here."
Yeah.
And then he shares them.
Some of us merely survive, and some of us live.
So,
but anyway, just the point is, and I'm looking forward to the next episode, which is the Goofy Shorts. I already went and watched all of them.
Yes, the episode I'm editing right now is an episode where we covered 4 vintage Goofy shorts, specifically the art of skiing, how to play baseball, how to play football, and Goofy gymnastics, which, oddly enough, was the short that they're watching in the movie theater scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, cool.
So I got to talk about that short two episodes in a row.
I remember the skiing one vividly because that one cracked me up when I was a kid.
The skiing one was the very first ever appearance of the Goofy yell, the infamous "Ah-hoo-hoo-hoo-wee," which was recorded by a yodeler who own owned a real ski resort that Walt had invested in that they plug in the actual short. There's a yeah, so it was like product placement back in the 40s. It was crazy.
Wow. So here's a trivia. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, the trivia about Who Framed Roger Rabbit that may or may not be known, and I don't know if it might have just been a local thing, but the first time that I saw UHF, it was a double feature with Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It was a sneak preview a week before UHF was released. They did a sneak preview, and I don't remember which of the two played first, but I had actually not seen Roger Rabbit myself, even though it was a year old, so I was excited to see both of those. So.
I know that the almost connection that UHF has to Roger Rabbit is that when they offered the role of Stanley Spadowski to Michael Richards, at first he wasn't quite sure whether he wanted to do it. Obviously, eventually he agreed to do it. But in the time when he was unsure about it, the producers were like, well, who do we get if he says no? And they ultimately agreed, okay, if he says no, we'll offer it to Christopher Lloyd. And obviously that didn't need to happen, but imagine if it had. Christopher Lloyd as Stanley Spadowski would have been something, all right.
That would have worked. I'm sure. Movie.
Yeah,
it would have. Yeah, but like UHF came out the same year as Back to the Future 2, so Christopher Lloyd would have played the world's dumbest guy and the world's smartest guy in the same year.
Amazing.
Nice.
I like how the delay with Tony's podcast is him editing it, and the delay with my version of the podcast is scheduling it and actually like watching shit and reviewing it. It doesn't take me nearly as long to edit the episodes. It's because I'm not the perfectionist that Tony is.
I'm a crazy
But
perfectionist.
for me, it's like, who can I get? I got to find people who want to watch this thing. I got to explain the format, and I've done a terrible job explaining the format because every single time we go to watch the thing, we're like, wait, we're gonna stop recording. We're gonna watch. Oh, okay. You know.
Hey, I'm always in the mood to procrastinate. If you want to have me on again,
Sure.
I'd like to thank all the first 3 guests of my new podcast for all being here in the same episode.
Happy to do it. Yeah, nice little reunion for Luke's podcast.
Coincidentally, I wanted to ask Jeff Morris to be on this month's episode, but I didn't. I also didn't want to inundate him because he needs a break.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for that.
I need to get an episode posted, recorded and posted by the end of the month, and I haven't figured out who my guest will be or what we're talking about. And I'm like, well, Jeff would be ideal, but he needs to be in a coma for the next several months. And get a break from all of this.
I just this week I've been off from work and trying to just catch up on tons of things that I'm behind on because of all the Demento work the past several months. I mean, because it was like do the show, write the show, get the script approved, go through all that, get it recorded, now edit it, and so a lot of times the editing I was working on it till after midnight on Friday because I had till 3 a.m. is when it posted this time. And then as soon as that's done, it's like, okay, well, I got to get the next script written and get it to Barry so he can improve it, so he can get it recorded, because there was only certain times he could record. I'm like,
That's why I stopped even trying to do weekly shows. I'm just way too big a perfectionist for it.
Yeah.
And then you had to add all of my notes, which were mainly about me, into the episodes.
Well, in 36, 37, 38, yes.
Yeah.
We were
And
working together on this.
In the mail today, got home from work, I just got this. Speaking of Dr. Demento, I'm covering up his address, but
nice.
he sent me a check for $75.
There you go. For your help on
for my contributions to those 3 episodes.
Great.
So and the saddest thing is I really need that $75. So yes.
Glad you got it.
Don't we all?
It's the kind of thing where I'd frame this, but I need the money.
Can't you do? Can't you deposit it with the app on your phone?
Ooh, I suppose I could.
And then you can keep the check. Then you can deposit it and keep the check.
Modern conveniences.
Yes.
Building things and adjusting things.
Them. So we should probably move on with the episode in some capacity.
Yeah, I mean, it is 10:45 already.
But wait, Shoebox just got here. We have
oh my
Jeff.
God, we have Shoebox. Hi, Shoebox.
We can't hear you, Shoebox.
We can't hear you, Shoebox. There you
Hello,
are.
now we can.
Yay.
We were just
Shoebox
about to
said
launch
he would never-
into Tony's song, but what have you been up to, Shoebox?
I don't even know. Stuff, basically. Just got back from band practice, so I was doing that. We got a show coming up on Halloween, so yeah, that's coming. I've got a new song dropping, in about, I think, an hour and a half or so. And
Yay!
so, yeah, stuff. Other than that, I live in a place, and it's warmer than the last place I lived, and I'm still there.
Yay! Yes,
Yay.
we were talking. I was talking about Jim the Hammer Shapiro earlier in the episode.
Oh my God!
He remembers. 1-800-546-7777.
Yeah. Jim the Hammer Shapiro. We're gonna get you all the money. I didn't do that quite right because he let it drag out.
Yeah.
All the money. Everything was.
He got disbarred.
What's funny is I've traveled a lot, and there is always a lawyer named the Hammer in every state.
He probably licenses it out like a franchise.
No, because they're not Jim the Hammer.
Oh.
It's just so-and-so the Hammer something.
Yeah, I mean, he probably trademarked it and just, you could be the Hammer in Chicago, you can be the Hammer in Detroit, and,
It's like Big Boy. You got Bob's Big Boy, Abdo's Big Boy.
The franchise rights alone will make us millions.
Yes.
Because rich beyond the dreams of avarice.
Yes.
When the only trademark you have is a hammer, every problem looks. No, I don't even know where to go with that.
There was an excellent sketch on last week's Saturday Night Live with Amy Poehler about those type of lawyer commercials. So go look that up. I don't want to spoil the joke, but it's great.
Anyway, I think somebody posted the song.
Yeah, so Tony, you posted a song.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I did. That's the rumor, at least.
Give us a quick intro, then we will play this 8.5-minute beast.
Well, this song is about the Dr. Demento Show finally coming to a close and its history and impact upon all of us. And it's a little ditty that I like to call Smogberry Pie. Wind up your radio. I can still remember that mad music and crazy comedy. With stacks and stacks of laughing wax, one doctor stood above the quacks each week for over half a century. But now the doctor's made it final. He's packing up his tapes and vinyl. No more record breakers, nor noise from his noisemakers. He leaves behind the show's archives, where we still can take some strange deep dives into the funny 55. Back when the doc was in. Oh, fish heads, roly-poly fish heads. Trees of smoggy puppet doggies aren't much fun when they're dead. With his black tuxedo and top hat on his head, he said, don't forget to stay demented. Don't forget to stay demented. Were you playing blues guitar back when Nervous Norvus crashed his car on Pico and Sepulveda? Did you raspberry into Fuhrer's face? Do you know how purple people taste? And can you come to take me away? Ha 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 ha. Well, I know you've heard the birds, the words of which pigeon poison is preferred, and Stephen cleans obscene. So turn off the bubble machine. I was a tulip tiptoeing twisted twit with a 10-inch record of a Chipmunks hit. And just who else would play this shaving cream? The doc was in. I was requesting fish heads, roly-poly fish heads. Hello, mudda, big fat butterfingers, Irving is dead. Does he come lose flavor on the post of your bed? Well then, don't forget to stay demented. Don't forget to stay demented. Now the Vikings sang of processed meat and junk food that all the junkies eat, but don't you eat that yellow snow. When another one wrote the Belvedere, Hank and Stu and Hank, but Dave's not here. He got smoked by rolling way too slow. Oh, and while the streak showed off his butt, we time warped back to old King Tut. The geeks were pencil-necked. Scotsman and kilts got wrecked. And though I felt existentially blue, we made love in my Subaru while locked in closets with Sulu. Back when the doc was in. We're requesting fish heads, have a boot to the head. Cincinnati was too fatty, but the cockroach was fed. The homecoming queen is gonna fill us with lead, screaming, don't forget to stay demented. Don't forget to stay demented. Trekking, give us just a second week of deer camp and we might beckon some great turdy pointer buck, and we'll read the demented news. But where did you put the Mountain Dews? They're Adam Sandler's piece of shit car. Best of luck. Now the vegetable rights activists remind me of my therapist. The foreman froze over hell. Oh, jealous, hate that Taco Bell. Well, the cows rose up with loaded guns, while Happy Noodle fought and won. Truly the saga had begun back when the doc was in. We were requesting fish heads, making you smile in bed. Shield your daughters from the waters where Viagra was spread. When you see that bulbous poop on someone's head, just say, don't forget to stay demented. Don't forget to stay demented. Oh, Shoebox had a great song idea. The vacuum fills my cat with fear, and Henry's all alone again. So come on, steal like hobbits, eat some brains, write you some Pokemon refrains, and instead of funny 5, we'll count to 10. I just forgot Doctor Strange's name. It sucks to get so old and lame. YOLO, just once you live. I've no more FuMPs to give. And at the great showdown of destiny, Azukla laughed maniacally. They all covered Punk with Dr. D. That's right, the doc was in. Still requesting fish heads, pee your pants, knuckleheads. Carla's copyright was sloppy, tell me what the fox said. And the wolves of Glendale bought a sweet thoroughbred. Nay, and don't forget to stay demented. Don't forget to stay demented. They called it all a novelty, a forgettable frivolity. That wasn't how it made me feel. Real life always seemed so absurd, especially to such an awkward nerd, that to my mind, funny music felt more real. We're gonna miss these weekly trips. Say cheerio to your cherry lips. Good luck with your endeavors. Stay demented forever. Tom Petty sang of the last DJ to play whatever he wants to play. His words are only true today, now that the doctor's out. So I'm requesting fish heads, roly-poly fish heads. Trees are smoggy, puppy doggies aren't much fun when they're dead. With his black tuxedo and top hat on his head, he said, don't forget to stay demented. Don't forget to stay demented. Requesting fish heads, roly-poly fish heads. Trees are smoggy, puppy doggies aren't much fun when they're dead. With his black tuxedo and top hat on his head, he said, don't forget to stay demented.
Okay, let's see if we can do this without completely blowing up Tony's ego.
Too late.
This is the best song on the tribute album. There, I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I don't care. Come at me. Come at me, bro.
Yeah, you
Did you have
really
that knife there on purpose?
Yes. Let's go with that.
You really stepped up your game for this one, I want to say.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I tried to, for sure.
When this came through for the tribute album, I just kind of sat there listening to it, just with my jaw on the floor going, Wow.
Yeah.
Tony.
Well, I did my best.
This
Yeah.
is what
That's
happens
all you
when
can
you
do.
take a break from doing funny music for so long and then come back to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one could argue, I suppose.
Yeah, because I think other than the thing you did for the Tom Lehrer album, the last thing you posted on the FuMP was in 2014. So have you been
That's
working on
right.
the song for the last 11 years? Is the question?
Yeah. I've just been waiting for. I've had the song written ever since 2014, and I've just been waiting for Doctor. Oh, come on, retire already, so I can record this thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
amazing
impressive you
because
got all the
mine-
references into the songs that hadn't been written yet. I mean, that's
I was just about
Wrote
to say
those
that.
songs for the artist just so they would fit the cadence of the lyrics.
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I wrote
Well,
my Benedict
I
Cumberbatch
ghostwrite
song
all-
just so you could have that Doctor Strange line.
Yeah, exactly. I ghost wrote all of Wolves of Glendale's songs just to see which one would hit the number one of last year. But yeah, well, obviously Don McLean's American Pie has always been one of my favorite songs ever since I was a kid. I've talked about this before, but I was a weird kid who wasn't really into current pop music. I grew up listening to oldies and
I'm sorry,
classic
which
rock.
of us sitting here said that?
But
I thought it was
very
real loud. Okay, right.
I very much inherited my parents' taste in music, and I always thought American Pie was a great song in and of itself. And even before Weird Al released The Saga Begins, I always thought American Pie would be a great song to parody. Even before I knew I wanted to make parodies, it just seemed perfect because it's so long and there's so many lyrics to play with, and it's got such a rambling narrative but within a very solid structure. So and there's all sorts of different lines in it and lengths of lines. It's not repetitive. It lends itself well to a parody that dives deep into a niche subject. It's kind of like We Didn't Start the Fire in that regard. There's just so much to work with. And at first, I actually first had the earliest inkling of, wow, wouldn't it be fun to make an American Pie parody about Dr. Demento, about the history of comedy music, literally decades ago. This is not a joke. That, like, back in the late 90s, I had passing thoughts about it. But, I was never really serious about the idea back then. I never wrote any specific lyrics for it or anything, in large part because Weird Al released The Saga Begins. I didn't want to feel like I was writing his coattails even more than all comedy musicians are always constantly ostensibly writing Weird Al's coattails. It was just kind of a cool maybe someday idea in the back of my mind. And to be honest, I'm not sure I would have made Smogberry Pie if Paul and Storm hadn't also made Westerosi Pie, their parody of American Pie, because, that firmly established, okay, Weird Al's no longer the only person to make an American Pie parody. There's not just one shadow over this thing anymore. It's fair game. So, of course, May of this year, Dr. Demento announces his impending retirement, which is obviously very bittersweet news to all Dimensions and Dementites and Dementoids the world over. We're all sorry that the show's going to be ending, but also happy that Barry gets to end it on his own terms and take a much-deserved retirement. And
yeah, absolutely.
A few days after that announcement, I'm at home. I'm probably editing my podcast. I'm listening to, a playlist I have full of some of my favorite music, and American Pie pops up. And my mind wanders back to remembering, oh yeah, I had an inkling of doing an American Pie parody about Dr. Demento years ago. And I thought, yeah, wouldn't that be a nice tribute to record and release right when his show's ending? Yeah, that would be nice, but I don't have time to do that. Forget it. And then I start almost involuntarily doing the what if mental tug of war between the part of my brain that wants to explore the idea and the part of my brain looking for excuses not to do it. Because obviously I'm not going to do it. I don't have time. No way. But if I did, and I'm not going to do it, but if I did, how would I do it? What would be my this'll be the day that I die reprise at the end of the choruses? That's the best place to start. What's a similar mission statement for Dr. Demento that fits that cadence? Well, obviously, don't forget to stay demented, or rather, don't forget to stay demented, which ultimately does put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, but close enough for comedy
it's
music.
Fine. Yeah,
but,
it's fine. It's
yeah,
fine.
That's always how I say that too.
It's a demented phrasing of it, so it kind of works. And then I thought, oh, okay, smart guy, but, then I need to fill that chorus with other lines that rhyme with Ted. What the hell rhymes with Ted? Fish heads. Dr. Demento's most requested song ever, Fish Heads. And then I realize, Fish Heads, roly-poly fish heads fits the cadence of Bye Bye Miss American Pie perfectly. Okay, well, what else is appropriate that rhymes with head and Ted? Well, Dead, and then you got the second most requested song, Dead Puppies, something, something, something. Puppies aren't much fun when they're dead. Couldn't think of a good rhyme for puppies, so trees are smoggy, puppy doggies aren't much fun when they're dead, smogberry trees. Dr. D's got a top hat on his head that completes the chorus. Suddenly this idea, which I'm still not gonna do, has a whole chorus, and it feels like it might be a pretty darn good chorus. Okay, well, what about the other repeating motifs in the song? I'm still looking for an excuse not to do it. Like, okay, what's The Day the Music Died? Well, how about Back When the Doc Was In? And then at the end I can switch it out by saying the doc is out. That works. How about the iconic opening line? Long, long time ago, wind up your radios. And I kept putting roadblocks in front of myself and then easily leaping over them. And I was running out of excuses not to do the song. And finally, I sent a DM to Luke just saying, hey, I had this idea. I had this burst of inspiration. And I just wrote the entire chorus there for him. And I said, is this a dumb parody idea, or do you think I should actually do this? And Luke, you said, Devo just yesterday mentioned something about a FuMP Dr. Demento tribute album. That idea would be perfect for it. So, contacted Devo. We worked it out. I committed to it. And of course, as soon as I could, I nabbed that October 10th slot on the FuMP months in advance, the day right before Barry's last show, because I am nothing if not an opportunist, and I fucking did it, and lo and behold, the song exists, defying God's will.
So there's me, like as Game Grumps have often said in the past, do it.
Of course. And I commissioned the instrumental track of American Pie from my friend Jacob Martin, who also did the instrumental on my cover of We Will All Go Together When We Go. And I told him just do American Pie as exactly as possible with whatever equipment you have. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He played all the instruments on that track, did a great job. I mean, when Al recorded The Saga Begins, he was famously a huge stickler for getting it all exactly right. Like Bermuda's talked about, he sent Ruben home a couple times because Ruben didn't quite get the piano bit at the beginning. Like he only got it 99% right instead of 100% right, and Al sent him home. I wasn't nearly that persnickety with Jacob. I told him, just get it approximately right. That's good enough for what I need. My only demand to Jacob was that the guitar had to be an acoustic guitar, because all the others could be synthesized, simulated, but the guitar needed to sound authentic. And again, he did a great job. And once he finished the instrumental, then I asked basically everyone attached to the tribute album for group vocals on the last chorus. And a bunch of people sent me some great vocals. I also asked a bunch of my friends and frequent Escape from Walt Disney guests for group vocals, and amazingly, the people who sent me vocals back were split evenly 50-50 between comedy musicians and friends of my podcast. Like 8 comedy musicians, 8 frequent EFED guests, and Luke, who is both. So that was some very nice synchronicity there. And I was amazed by some of what I got back. One person who really went above and beyond was Robbie Ellis. I am not exaggerating. Robbie Ellis sent me 12 different vocal tracks of him singing the chorus in these elaborate harmonies. It was insane. Just for fun, I laid them all on top of each other, and it sounds like the vocals on a Queen song. It's so well done. Maybe I'll post that at some point.
See, the reason is the exact opposite is the reason I did not send you vocals. I was thinking about it, but then I was like, no, because I'll be singing them in the key of Q, and that just won't work, And...
Well, thank you for knowing your limits. But so anyway, I had the chorus. I commissioned the instrumental. I sent the invitation out to record group vocals, my next step was to actually write the damn thing. And I started with the very last verse, which I knew had to be the final encapsulation of, what the show has meant to me and my personal send-off to it. It was very important to me to explain why I always gravitated towards comedy music. Real life always seems so absurd that funny music felt more real, which I feel like is a big reason why so many comedians go into comedy in general. And it was also very important to me to end the song with a reference to The Last DJ by Tom Petty, which is not a funny song by any means, but from the first moment I heard The Last DJ, back when it came out in 2002, I always thought, that's Dr. Demento. He's singing about Dr. Demento. Now, Tom Petty was not literally singing about Dr. Demento. He said in interviews that, the character in the song is meant to be a composite of various DJs who've been pushed out by the corporatization of radio stations. And he's also said that the song is kind of a metaphor for people losing their moral compasses in general. But when you look at the actual lyrics, there goes the last DJ who plays what he wants to play. In real life terms, that is Dr. Demento to a T. Dr. Demento was the last truly freeform radio DJ in the country, and now we don't even have him to kick around anymore. There goes the last DJ. The Doctor is out.
Indeed.
So with the last verse written, the next thing I wrote was the first verse, which I knew needed to establish who Dr. Demento is. I reworded his opening spiel that he did in every episode. I hyped up his longevity. Honestly, the biggest challenge in that first verse was finding a rhyme for noisemakers, because I knew I needed to reference the noisemakers. Best I could. I tried playing with like no more noise from his noisemakers, but that ultimately struck me as too maudlin. Ultimately, I came up with no more record breakers, which doesn't actually make a ton of sense, but by placing it right after the word vinyl, I feel like it feels like it makes sense, if that makes any sense, but so then I had to write all 4 verses and choruses in the main body of the song. And I knew I wanted to make it a full-blown parody of all 8.5 minutes of American Pie. I wasn't going to shorten it like Al did. Even Paul and Storm shortened it, I think, to just 3 verses in the middle instead of 4, and Al shortened it to 2 in the middle. Much as I've always loved The Saga Begins, I always felt like it was a bit of a wasted opportunity just to make it a more or less straightforward retelling of The Phantom Menace, because I've always admired how Don McLean cryptically told the story of the 50s and 60s, the boomers coming of age era within the lyrics of American Pie. It feels like it makes more sense than it actually does. There's a few direct pop culture references in there to James Dean and the Book of Love and such, but we're never explicitly told who the jester is, who the king and queen are, who's the quartet, who's Satan, that whole football, what the whole
we have the
football
quartet.
section is.
He's right there.
Oh, of course, right. Yeah. But that cryptic tone of not quite knowing what the song is about, that was something I wanted to capture for this parody, for the uninitiated at least. One of the goals with this song is, if you don't get any of the references, I want it to sound just as cryptic and weird and unknowable as the original does.
I think you definitely achieved that.
Well, thank you. And I didn't want it just to be a laundry list of references either, although arguably it is, but I also wanted it to feel like a story was being told without letting on what the story was. So I wanted to connect as many references to each other into a narrative as possible, like, Nervous Norvus crashed his car on Pico and Sepulveda, that sort of thing. Bringing things together. I knew I wanted to switch things up on the choruses in the main body of the song, fill the choruses as well as the verses with references, in large part because I knew I really wanted to sing fish heads have a boot to the head. I wanted to work that in somewhere. I also knew I wanted to divide the verses by era and ultimately, take it right up to the present. So the first verse is all the biggest novelty hits from the pre-Dr. Demento era, the 60s and earlier. Spike Jones, Tom Lehrer, Shaving Cream, They're Coming to Take Me Away, haha, etc. Second verse, biggest Demented hits of the first 15 years or so of the show's existence. The 70s, most of the 80s.
I didn't pick up on that, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, Frank Zappa, early Weird Al, Pencil Neck Geek, Existential Blues, all that stuff. Third verse, biggest Demented hits of the rest of the 80s, the entire 90s, and a little bit of the early 2000s. You know, so we got Whimsical Will, The Arrogant Worms, Dungeons and Dragons, Bulbous Bouffant, etc. Fourth verse is just straight up the FuMP era. I think more of the artists I reference in the fourth verse are FuMP acts than aren't. Like, you know, all of you fine folks, with the exception of Jeff, Henry Phillips, Jonathan Colton, Paul and Storm, and the last reference before we get into the final verse is of Ricky by Wolves of Glendale, the final most requested song of the year. My process for writing all this was I went through it. Actually, I had a lot of help from Jeff inadvertently. I went through the lists on dmdb.org of all the Dr. Demento compilation CDs and all the year-end countdowns, and I made two separate lists. I said, okay, here's all the artists and songs that I absolutely have to reference, and here's a secondary list of all the artists and songs I could reference, depending on what fits into the cracks of the cadence and the rhyme scheme.
That's funny because I did basically the same thing when I was putting together the tribute album. I was like, I went through all of the Dr. Demento compilations and like the year-end countdowns, and I was like, let's pick out some songs that absolutely have to be covered and included.
Yeah. Now, through this process, unfortunately, there were quite a few huge Demented classics that I ended up neglecting. I couldn't squeeze in a reference to Wet Dream by Kip Adada. That's the biggest song. That's Dr. D's 7th most requested song of all time. Couldn't squeeze that in. I couldn't fit in Boobs a Lot, or Who's on First, or Squirrels, or The Devil Went to Jamaica, or Deteriorata, or Friendly Neighborhood Narco Agent. I didn't reference Mark Jonathan Davis, or Rachel Bloom, or Flight of the Conchords. There were some songs I didn't even try to fit in because one policy I had on this song is that, with the sole exception of Al, I only wanted one reference per artist, so I could just squeeze in as many artists as possible. So I didn't bother trying to reference Kinko the Clown because Dead Puppies was already in there. I specifically didn't reference Monster Mash because Star Trek was referenced. Trekken, Drekken. That's how stringent I was on that rule. But of course, Al is Al, so he gets special treatment. Even then, I didn't reference Yoda, which is Al's most requested song ever, because, I had to reference Saga Begins to pay homage to the big American Pie parody.
Sense.
And I think the most obscure song I referenced in this song was Hell Froze Over Today by the Four Men. The Four Men Froze Over Hell, which never even made the Funny Five even once, but it's always been a favorite of mine, and I just really needed something that rhymed with Pachelbel, and I couldn't think of anything else.
That's a good one.
And also I was very... I really wanted to match as exactly as humanly possible the cadence of every line in the original American Pie. I didn't quite succeed. There's a few moments in there where, I took a couple of syllabic liberties, but mostly I think I pulled it off, which is, not the easiest thing to do. I mean, honestly, that's why I got out of, making funny songs, is that it's hard to write this stuff. It's hard to, work out the jigsaw puzzle of, okay, if I reference this here, then I can't reference it here. So that rhyme do I want to rhyme it here? It was insane. And the fourth verse was originally very different. And if you'll indulge me, I have the original version of the fourth verse right here. If you or the fifth verse, actually, the fourth verse of the main body. But the verse about the FuMP era. If you'll indulge me, I could read it off. So it was the same up to, instead of Funny Five, we'll count to 10. And originally I got into the whole, I'll just read it. Oh, Doc would soon move the show online to fight the robots for our time. It sucks to get so old, but still his show was gold. And as we covered him in Punk, of course, Ookla Wahad with Evil Force, and those Wolves of Glendale bought a horse, and still the Doc was in. We're still requesting fish heads. Tell me what the fox said. Time to throw down in the showdown of a destiny met. And Bo Burnham welcomed us to the internet, where we can't forget to stay demented. Everybody stays demented. I ultimately rewrote that because, it's kind of weak that I have actual rhymes for Ted, the whole song, and then at the end I kind of give up and just rhyme it with net. That felt a little. I want to commit to this. It'd be nice to reference Bo Burnham, and the fight the robots was an oblique Flight of the Conchords reference, of course, but.
And you referenced wahaha in the past tense, which I've never heard done before.
Yes, of course. And then I realized, instead of Wolves of Glendale bought a horse, I could just say, well, they bought a sweet thoroughbred in the chorus, so I didn't need to do those forced rhymes with horse. But yeah. And also, I think ultimately, I didn't want to dwell on the fact that Doc was moving the show online because I wanted to keep this part of the song fairly positive. But I will say there was one reference in particular that I wanted to fit into the FuMP era verse, and I couldn't think of a way to do it. And then literally like a week after the album came out, when it was too late to change it, I was in the shower or something, and I thought of how I should have done it. So if you'll indulge me yet again, here's in hindsight how I should have written that verse. So, and now because this is such a jigsaw puzzle, it would have involved moving some stuff around. Specifically, I would have changed these three things. First of all, replace the first two lines. Instead of Shoebox had a great song idea, the vacuum fills my cat with fear, I'd replace that with Carla had a cursed copyright, the vacuum fills my cat with fright. So we've removed the Worm Quartet reference. We're going to bring it back, don't worry. But we've moved the Carla Ulbrich reference to the verse. Skip ahead to the chorus. I should have replaced Carla's copyright was sloppy, tell me what the fox said, with Dr. Strange's name is changing, tell me what the fox said. So there's the Ian reference right there. And that's moved to the chorus. So middle of the verse, in the actual song, it's I just forgot Dr. Strange's name. It sucks to get so old and lame, referencing Ian and Devo. Eo and Devon. That's Devo or Ian. Never mind. So we're putting the shoebox reference here and still referencing Devo. And what I should have said was, your inner voice tells you that you should construct a statue that looks good. And that's how I would have referenced myself, via your reference to me in inner voice. I always think of my best ideas too late.
Oh, well.
And yeah, so that's how Smogberry Pie got made, and yeah, I'm very proud of how it turned out. I'm very, very honored to be the number 36 most requested artist in the history of the Dr. Demento Show. Just think, if Knuckleheads had gotten just a few more requests than me, I could have made a Kevin Smith reference. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
Well, I have a couple things to say. First of all,
Sure.
There is kind of the secret Easter egg reference to you. Which,
is there?
Yes, because you omitted it intentionally from your annotations, but those who have been a part of our circles of people going all the way back to the late 90s, early 2000s may remember that Tony and I did a song together that was in tribute to funny music in general and Dr. Demento, and it was called The Sign of a True D Fan.
Yeah.
And for the chorus of that song, we took a sample from the movie Cecil B. Demented, which you have listed here, Demented Forever by Karen McKillan from the film Cecil B. Demented.
Right.
So, so basically the chorus is, the sample goes, Demented Forever, and then Tony and I together go, it's a sign of a true D fan, and by D fan we mean Demento fan or Dementia fan or whatever.
Right.
So...
I mean, nowadays when you hear D fan, I feel like something else pops into your brain, but please go on.
But basically, you including the line "Stay Demented Forever" in my opinion, like that's you referencing. That's the only time of the song you reference one of your own works, even though it's
but ostensibly I'm referencing Cecil B. Demented. So because that's what we were sampling there.
Yeah, but if it weren't for us making that song, would you have even known about that movie to make that reference?
Probably not. I'll be honest, but
Barramon just subscribed with Amazon Prime. Thank you, Barramon. And before the show started, Wildcard subscribed for like the 52nd month in a row or something. So, thank you, folks. Thank you,
and
guys.
The other thing I wanted to say, and this is in regards to generally how awesome this song is and how meaningful it is, especially that last verse. On 2 separate occasions, while I have been driving to work listening to this song, I have started crying.
Aww.
Like, that's how perfect this song is, especially the remix at the end, where, stop subscribing while I'm trying to be honest with my feelings, god damn it!
Fireblast Studios just subscribed. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Micah.
And by the way, hi to everyone on episode 900 listening to this clip. Hi!
Oh, the subtlety.
Fine, fuck it, forget it. I don't have emotions.
You were
I'm a
crying
robot
in
that
your
works
car.
for the post office.
You were crying in your car. Go on.
No, it was like I had to, on the days when I'm fortunate enough to get to work early enough that I can sit in the parking lot and chill, I was just sitting there, thinking about, listening to the song, thinking about your words, how true they are, how much I relate to them, and how much I'm appreciate that the show happened and everything involving me and all my friends that happened, and feeling the sadness that this era is over. Comedy music isn't over. We're still going to keep going, and Barry's still around. He's still going to be doing stuff, but the fact that this coming Saturday there won't be a new sparkly episode that Jeff Morris put together of the Dr. Demento Show, is sad. So, but yeah, just.
Well, it's bittersweet to be sure. I mean, it's sad that it's going away, but it's like I said, it's good that it got to end on it. That Barry got to end the show on his own terms.
Yeah, that's one thing I am very happy about is that he decided when it was going to happen, how it was going to happen, and stuff. Like, he wasn't canceled by who the powers that be or whatever, and
this is going to sound
the best way to end it.
He could not have been out stronger either. I mean, seriously, those retrospective episodes, everything going up to that, just some of the best work we've done.
Those are fantastic.
Such a way to go out. I mean, seriously, I'm just amazed.
Thank you. And this is going to sound weird, but I'm glad Tom Lehrer died right in the nick of time for him to do that episode.
Right.
Well, it would have been sucked. It would have sucked if he'd stayed alive until today, where it's too late. What are you gonna do?
But on the other hand, so Jeff, if Tom Lehrer was still alive, do you think he would have submitted a recording for the show?
Oh man, I wonder, because I certainly would have asked him, and I don't know, 50-50 shot really. It depends on whether he would have had any easy way of recording it. I don't really know. As several people, as you heard, I had to record over the phone because they didn't have a way to do it themselves or something. I don't know. But yeah, I it would have been cool to get him, of course.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well.
Well, other people tell Tony how awesome his song is.
Tony, I don't remember getting an email about submitting for the chorus, but it's...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just found mine. I got it on July 10th, apparently. It's just completely... You're not in my spam folder or anything. I just can't see things, apparently. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you can't see things.
I missed it, but this song is epic.
Yeah, I bulk emailed the same group that Devo bulk emailed about the tribute album in the first place, but well.
I was looking at the group vocals list and I'm like, well, I understand why Devo's not there, but
oh well.
All right. So, God, it's fucking 11:30 already.
Song's awesome, Tony.
So,
really, I mean, holy crap! I got
it's a killer song.
First time I listened to it, I think I already told you that, but I'm telling you it now where other people can hear it. It just
thank you.
Why the hell do I have goosebumps? I'm listening to Tony Goldmark. I still know you're a fish. Fish. Yeah. But, amazing job, seriously. Just very well crafted.
Thank you very much.
Glorious.
Stellar work.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I didn't. This was the first time I heard it because I have not listened to the tribute album yet because all I've been doing is focusing on making the new shows. And Barry was the one who listened to, he went through every track on the tribute album and selected those 4 tracks. Other than that, pretty much everything that was on the recent shows was I had selected, and he, cut some stuff, or he might have changed a song here and there, but it was mostly me. But for those, he went through that, and I didn't have any input on that, and I didn't even hear, honestly, the 4 songs that were on there, with the exception, of course, of Luke's that was older. I did not hear until after I was done editing the episode and listened back to the episode. So,
wow.
I do have the tribute CD is right on top of my stack to listen to at work next week. So.
Yeah, it would have been nice if this song had been played on one of the last Dr. Demento shows, but I also understand why it wasn't. I'm very proud of how it turned out, but it's not really a funny song in and of itself. It's a very sincere and not exactly serious, but definitely an earnest song about funny music, without really being a funny piece of music in and of itself. So I understand why Barry went for the more lighthearted tracks when he played that block of 4 songs from the album.
Well, it's also 8.5 minutes long, and he can fit 2 songs in with versus one of yours. So.
That's true.
But I wanted to mention the Thumbnuts in the chat says, I just got off work, so I can only now comment. This is an all-time FuMP track, Tony. So.
Oh, thanks. Mm-hmm. I know people were talking about, or Luke, you brought up, this will be the Logan winner for best parody. That'd be nice. I've never won a Logan before. I was nominated for one years ago with, I think, The Guy on TV Is Not Happy, and if memory serves, I lost to Shoebox. So thanks for that, Shoebox. But
wasn't because it's French nominated, or am I imagining that?
Was it? It might have been. I don't remember.
I remember The Guy on TV being nominated.
Yeah, that definitely was nominated. But yeah.
All right.
Ion.
Ion. So, Tony, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
My podcast, obviously, Escape from Walt Disney. You can find that wherever podcasts are available. The most recent thing I posted to the podcast feed was a mini-sode I made about Dr. Demento, about the Dr. Demento show ending and what it's meant to me. And in that mini-sode, I end by playing Smogberry Pie. So that song is there. The last full episode I released was on Who Framed Roger Rabbit with special guests. When you do a title like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you really want to get some knowledgeable guests with real expertise on the subject. So, of course, I got my stepdad, my stepsister, and my girlfriend. My family, my stepdad and stepsister happen to be in town. Hey, want to be on the podcast? Okay. And the randomizer gave us Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The Who Framed Roger Rabbit episode is, no exaggeration, the longest episode of Escape from Walt Disney, just because there's so much to talk about. And so go...
You're plugging it on this episode of the podcast.
Yeah. And yeah, that's so go check out Escape from Walt Disney wherever podcasts may be found.
All right, let's do some news. Dr. Demento is retiring, and the FuMP is paying tribute.
Thanks for the music, the memories, dementia, and the
Fruits of the Smogberry Trees, the FuMP's tribute to Dr. Demento, is available now as a 2-CD set or digital download.
Great Demento, play my song.
Only 19 minutes long.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, trees of smog.
Featuring over 2 hours of music with your favorite FuMP artists paying tribute to Dr. Demento and covering some of his most popular songs.
Dead puppies.
Fruits of the Smogberry Trees, the FuMP's tribute to Dr. Demento, is now available in the store at thefump.com. That's TheFump.com. FuMP.com. Order your copy now. Like, right now!
Time for funny music news. Something, something, something.
Yes, we did that.
I'm tired.
All right. Yeah, you can take off whenever, Shoebox.
I'm going to do that momentarily. I've got to talk to my wife about cool chemicals and tree removal. It's going to be amazing, and then I'm going to sleep.
Okay.
That will be
So yes, as we mentioned, this past weekend was the final episode of the Dr. Demento Show. The episode that aired on October 11th, I guess, was the official drop date. This was the top 40 countdown of the most requested songs of all time, which featured a couple of interstitial bits put together by Chris Mezzalesta of Power Salad for some awesome bumpers.
Woo!
Which are amazing.
They were.
Incredible.
Those made me so happy.
They're so good.
And he did those months ago. He did. He did those in March. 3 of them in March and 2 of them in May or June, I think. And I had asked him to do this.
Okay, that was my
I
question.
didn't tell him why. Yeah, I asked him a long time ago because I was thinking about this coming up and I wanted to have them ready. And I said, do you think you could do this? Do you think you could make some bumpers that sound kind of like the AT40 bumpers? And yeah, it was in March, and so I saw him in April, of course, at Barry's birthday party, and he asked me something about it, and I said, "Well, it's not here yet. We will be using them. Thank you." We really anyway, and then yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I thought those were very well done as well.
Yeah, those were awesome. And our good friend, the great Luke Ski, posted a reaction video of him listening to the show, which I kind of wish I thought of doing, But what are you going to do? I mean, I could do one now and fake it, but it's not the same.
Well, my main thing is Ian going to post a reaction video of him reacting to me reacting to the final Dr. Demento Show episode.
I'm not going to pull a Luke Ski where you reacted to my reaction of you. No, I did watch it, though. I did watch your reaction already.
Yeah, and it was one of the. I had the idea, and I kind of was debating in my head, should I, shouldn't I? Like, all the way up until about like a half hour before, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, I think I am, because, the worst thing that will happen is that, I'll film myself listening to it, and then, I'll decide, like, nothing happened there that I really feel is worth sharing,
Yeah.
you
just
because
decide not to use it, but at least if you do it, you have the footage.
You have the option to use it.
Yeah, because to peek behind the curtain a bit, Jeff, in his preparations for editing together this monster episode, reached out to a whole bunch of us to let us know that that during the show, Barry is also counting down the top 40 artists of all time, and that I was one of those artists. So could I submit a like a 15 second or so piece of audio of me saying whatever I want to Dr. D about that, and thanking him or whatever I want to say. And I sat down and I wrote something out. What I came up with is like about 20 seconds long, and I sent it in. So I knew that at some point my name was going to be mentioned and that audio would play, but I didn't know. And also he let me know that that none of my songs made the top 40, which I wasn't expecting. But so I didn't know what the songs were, and I didn't know who the top 40 artists would be or what order they would be in, so it was just all a surprise. Yeah. So
yeah, that was very intentional. That I didn't tell anybody what position they were in, just that they were in the list. And we just kind of decided that we were not going to post the playlist as usual, to just let it be more surprise. So.
You, other than Barnes and Barnes and Weird Al, because they say what number they are in their greeting.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, Weird Al was pretty obvious.
True, very true.
Yeah, and yeah, I did. I don't know. I forget. I did. So did he actually say that? Did Art? Did Bill Mooney actually say he was number 2?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because actually, I realized after the fact, after listening to it, I had Barry say that he was skipping telling who the number 2 artist was, and then I never actually had him say who it was. It's kind of implied who it was, but I know I told Bill was one of the ones. So everybody I sent this to, I wrote out some sort of, just perspective thing for them to say, not expecting anybody to use it as is, or not being offended at all if anybody didn't use it. I just wanted people to have an idea of, here's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Write your own thing is perfectly fine, and of course some people wrote longer and some people than others, and anyway, so Bill actually, though, mostly read what I said, and he embellished it a little bit, but I did put in the thing about him saying, some guy named Al beat me. So.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, all 4 of us here, other than Jeff, got emails from Jeff. I mean, I'm sure Jeff emails himself, but that's weird. All 4 of us got emails from Jeff saying that we had made the top 40 most requested artists. And speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but I definitely went, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. That was my reaction too. Because I was not expecting to have a song in the top 40. Like, I figured there was no way that was going to happen. But when Jeff emailed me, I'm like, oh, I'm a top 40 artist. I'm like, okay, I probably snuck in at like number 39, 38.
I was
maybe.
absolutely 100% expecting to be number 40. I was 100% expecting to be number 40.
I was expecting that I just barely snuck in, and I was the one who was right. Number 36, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. I was when Devo, I was like, when he finds out he's in the top 10, he'll be really excited. And then when Luke finds out he was number 4, I bet he's gonna flip.
Well, when I was listening to the show, and I'm like, it kept counting down, and I'm like he hasn't mentioned me yet. And then it got down to like number 15, and I texted my wife, and I'm like, Dr. Demento's counting down the most requested artists of all time on the show. He's up to 15 and he hasn't mentioned me yet, and I know I'm on this fucking list. And I'm like, where am I? For a half a second I was like, did Jeff screw up? Am I not on this list? Was he just teasing me?
Yeah.
By the way, I looked it up. I was nominated for a Logan again in 2015, but it wasn't for 'Cause It's French. It was for Kill the Mouse.
Oh,
so with Kyle Calgren, but yeah, I was nominated that year, and I lost to Devo for Snack Bar. So thanks for that, Devo.
You got it. Anytime. Happy to help.
Hey! I've been nominated 17 times, and I've lost to everyone. So
really, okay.
I am the Susan Lucci of the Logan Awards.
Technically, the video
don't
for
give me technically. Shut up. Let me have this.
The video for Spider-Verse is 1, and you're in it, and you wrote part of it.
Yeah, but I didn't make the video, so it doesn't count.
Hey, you filmed your own footage for that video.
Yeah, because I had my goddamn gallbladder taken out while you were filming.
Literally at the set, you recorded it in the operating room where
I did. They didn't want to use that footage. It didn't match the movie.
So anyway,
I will say,
which is a shame because Sarah's a great cinematographer. Yeah.
She is, really good scope. Doesn't cut off a lot of the headroom. It's fantastic. I will say, listening to this final episode was really surprising for 2 reasons. The first reason it was surprising was that somehow I beat Frank Zappa. That was weird to me. And the second reason is I didn't buy this episode. I suddenly got an email that said, hey, thank you for your purchase. Here's the episode. And I think it might have been Jeff.
Well, I sent in a list to them of, here's all the people who contributed sound bites. And because I asked Barry about that before, I was like, I think they ought to get free listens. And he's like, yeah, that's good. So I sent them a list of, here's all those people. And I meant to ask all of these people if that was okay that I gave their email address to drdemento.com. And I asked some people, and some people said yes, some people said no. Steve Goody is the only one who said no. He said, I will buy it. Okay. And then
yeah, well, if you'd asked me, I would have been willing to buy it too. But
I'm sure.
It's very nice to suddenly be like, oh, well, I have this now. Neat.
Yeah.
I'm subscribed, so it's not even an issue.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I think he took out the ones who were subscribed. I assume that you didn't get a duplicate or something. But
excellent. Well, thank you and thank Barry for sending that, and that's very lovely.
So, of the top 40 most requested artists of all time in the history of the Dr. Demento Show, 11 of them are FuMP artists. So, just
nice.
over
I didn't count
10%.
Cool.
So, or just, I'm
And
sorry,
then-
just over
no,
25%. 25%. Yeah, sorry. Math.
That makes sense too, because the first 11 years of the FuMP we had a number one on the show.
Yeah.
So it works out that 11 number ones, 11 of the top 40 artists.
So
Well, it's one
16
louder, isn't it?
Yes.
16 artists in a row, 16 years in a row, FuMP artists had the number one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It was originally, but
Well,
yeah,
it was 11 from the start of the FuMP, but if you go back before the FuMP,
I was going to
those
say
were-
yes.
Oh,
From before the
previous five
FuMP,
were
yes.
also FuMP artists. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why they started the FuMP, because they were all number one artists on the FuMP, on the Dr. D show.
So I wanted to say, from my point of view, kind of going along, hopping off of what Devo Spice was saying, his story. It got down to the top 5, and I'm like, just he hasn't said me yet, and I had been writing down on some notes on my because I had Photoshop up when I was drawing. And I had just been writing down the songs as they went along, and when he started doing the things and he started mentioning friends of mine, I'm like, oh, I'll keep track of those too, because I'll probably want to edit those into the video I make. And then I realized that he hadn't mentioned me yet, and he hadn't mentioned Steve Goody yet. And Steve Goody, being prolific as he is the guy that, oh, what, Trump did something stupid this week? Oh, I'll make that into a song, ping! And then he does that 3 times a week, for 10 years on the FuMP. And gets tons of songs on, the top 10 and the Funny 25. So I was thinking, years and years ago when the FuMP first started, I remember one of the first CD bonus videos we made where it was like I had my monkey puppet interviewing me and talking about me being announced as the, most requested artist of the 21st century. I had predicted back then or hinted at back then that I assumed that at some point I would be surpassed by either Devo, Spice, or Worm Quartet. So in my mind, that didn't happen, and then in 2013, when Carrie put the surprise tribute album together, Barry reiterated that I was still the most requested artist of the 21st century. But now I was sitting there listening to the show, and I'm like, oh my god, did Steve actually pass me? Oh no! So now it's like, I'm like biting my nails, and then he comes on, it's like, number 5, Steve Goody. I'm like, I beat Steve Goody! All of my other friends have already mentioned! It's like... Imagine if it was Carrie. Imagine Carrie Dolby. It's like, what?
Now, did any of you communicate with each other before the show? Did any of you know that I had sent the message to any of the others and that you would also be on the list?
I did not say anything to anybody else, but I had assumed that it
Yeah.
was Luke.
Yeah,
I was going to ask Luke either before or after the FuMPcast if he got a really cool email from Jeff, and for some reason I decided not to, and I was like, I'll just let it go.
Yeah, I didn't want to be surprised, but also I just assumed, like, well, if I made the list, then Luke, Devo, and Ian, and Shoebox definitely made the list.
Yeah.
But so for the rest of my story of how I reacted, just go watch my reaction video and see my true and honest reaction to finding out that, I was in fact, named the 4th most requested artist of all time on the Dr. Demento Show, and that number 3 was Ogden Edsel, number 2 was Barnes & Barnes, and number 1 was Weird Al.
And I don't think anybody could have beaten any of those acts. Like we kind of all knew those were going to be the top 3. So I think
But
the
coming
4th,
after them.
yeah, I think the number 4 slot was the one everyone was gunning for. So
Tony,
I
texted me
wasn't
an
gunning
interesting-
for it. I was, reasonable. I knew I wasn't going to make it.
Tony texted or Facebook messaged a point to me earlier today that, not that we want Jeff to do any more work, but if you were to somehow remove both Dead Puppies and Fish Heads from the point totals of those 2 acts,
Then Luke would be number 2, definitely.
Oh, I see. That's an interesting question.
Like the power of those 2 individual songs was so great.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I send out the artist list, you'll see that if I recall correctly, the Beastly Boys are at number 42 or something like that, and they have only one song ever.
Yeah.
It's all on the strength of one song. So
That's incredible.
yeah,
I have already updated my bio to say one of the top 20 most requested artists of all time at the Dr. Demento Show. Now, granted, I am number 20, but that's still top 20.
That's still one of the top 20. Absolutely. That's where I was trying to remember where you were. I thought it was about 20. Yeah.
So now I have to decide for myself, what's the more impressive thing to say? Dr. Demento's most requested act of the 21st century, or Dr. Demento's fourth most requested artist of all time?
I don't know.
Honestly, I think you can say both.
Yeah.
You know what?
If I can fit them both onto a business card or the banner on my band.
Luke, if anyone can fit both onto a business card, you can. I've seen your business cards with a magnifying glass.
Actually, you're the number one act to have started any time after the 70s.
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because Al started in the 70s.
Yeah.
So did Ogden Edsel and Barnes and Barnes. Yeah.
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 So
Al is someone who wrote his own thing, because I actually asked him to do one before Amish Paradise and also before Yoda, and then one for himself as an artist, but he decided to just do one total. And I had written for him the line about this is for all the Amish who are winding up their radios right now, so I just moved that to Barry's line.
Nice.
So I just wanted to mention to some cherry-picked people from the top 40 artists of all time. As we said, number 1 was Weird Al, number 2 Barnes and Barnes, number 3 Ogden Edsel, number 4 was me, 5 was Steve Goody, number 9 Devo Spice, number 11 Robert Lund, number 12.
And Spaff.
Yep, and that was I was wondering if Spaff would be included in that. Yeah. So number 12 Whimsical Will, number 19 Power Salad, number 20 Insane Ian, number 21 Sulu. Number 29, Wolves of Glendale, which I felt was worth mentioning just because they're so new for them to have jumped so high, being such a new act.
I got to tell Ethan from Wolves of Glendale after the episode aired and had been out for a couple days. I was like, congratulations on being the 29th most requested artist on the show. Which is great considering you guys have only been doing stuff for 2 years, and he apparently hadn't heard the episode yet and was very surprised and excited about that.
Oh, okay. Well, he certainly knew he was in there because
exactly.
Yeah, they were.
I made sure to ping them after I gave them after I gave you their email, Jeff. I
cool.
To ping them to make sure, because sometimes they're a little slow on checking email. So I pinged.
Yeah. So thanks for setting that up.
Make sure you answer this because this is a thing. And Ethan was like, I had seen it. We're going to do something real quick. So I was like,
that was the other part of that whole process was Jeff emailed me. He was like, hey, do you know how to get in touch with any of these people? Give me a list of 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, so I very much appreciate the help with that. And I'm sure, I could have spent a little more time and probably found some way to contact some of these people, but I was just too buried in things. I'm just like, if I can't just simply email them, I can't put the time into it. But and then the Wolves actually, they sent a video, and I don't know if they just misunderstood or whatever. But so I was just going to use the audio from the video, and they said, "Is this okay? Did you get it?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I can just use the audio." And then they said, "Oh, we're going to send something completely different." They send a whole different one, which is the one I actually.
They're
used.
very big on improv, so they probably wanted something that didn't rely on the visuals that they were doing.
There wasn't really anything relying on the visuals, but anyway.
Yeah.
But number 30, Worm Quartet. Number 32, Ookla the Mock. Number 35 is Dr. Demento himself. Number 36, Tony Goldmark. And number 37, Knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And number 39, Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
Which I only mentioned because I grew up, I was a huge Abbott and Costello fan growing up. I'd take you into the other room to see all the movie posters I have on the wall of their movies. But they're reproductions. I don't have any originals. But I'm on a list with Abbott and Costello.
And you're above them.
I'm way above them, yes. To be fair, I don't think they've done any funny music, so...
Right. So, and I'm pretty sure that Who's on First was their only one that charted. He's only really played a few other things by them on occasion.
Yeah.
So they're mostly
Now-
on the strength of one bit.
Now, out of curiosity, did my point totals factor in that weird period where I was calling myself Flying Like Wilma?
Yes.
Because I know I got at least one Funny 25 song out of that. So
Yes,
cool.
I spent a long time going through all the songs and all the artists and making everything consistent on my spreadsheet so that
Gotcha.
because I had to do that especially for Mark Jonathan Davis with all the different names he recorded
God.
under. And then I missed one that I had to recalculate later. It was like, oh yeah. And and yes, so yes, I put Flying
Awesome.
Like Wilma under Tony Goldmark. Yes.
Thank you very
So
much.
I should have. In fact, yeah. Thanks for
Don't
reminding me
worry
of
about
that. When I post the list, I'll note that so that Flying Like Wilma is included.
And the other top list that Jeff Morris assembled was the top 100 songs of all time on the show. Now, this is not a show you can listen to, but it is a playlist that is available for perusal.
Right.
Someone should make it a Spotify playlist if all the songs are on Spotify.
I'm pretty sure
Someone already has
100, at least 100 to 60, or 100 to 41.
41.
Somebody in the Dr. Demento Show group is
Cool.
making a YouTube playlist of.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And then I also have the top 100 artists that I'm going to send out soon-ish. I need to double check a few things where I may have not combined some people that should have been or something like that, and just make a few more notes on stats of things.
So of the 100 top songs posted, 9 of them are FuMP songs, 10 of them if you count Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny, because there is a version of that on the FuMP. So again, 10%, which isn't bad. So at number 99 we have Save Me Obama by Robert Lund, which is okay. And then at 98 we have Great Idea for a Song by Robert Lund, which happens to be tied with
Great Idea for a Song is Worm Quartet.
My mind went up a line for some reason while I was reading that. Save Me Obama by Robert Lund. 98, Great Idea for a Song by Worm Quartet. Yeah.
Hold on just a moment, sir. Great Idea for a Song isn't the FuMP track, is it?
Well, it's by a FuMP artist.
It's by a FuMP artist. You're right. It's not technically a FuMP track.
Okay.
Also, didn't the slower version of that song get released on the FuMP? So
was that?
Didn't he call it the Tesha's a Mofo version or something?
Oh,
I feel like it was.
He did release the John Tesha's a Mofo version on the FuMP.
Oh, okay.
That was
All
Great
right,
Idea.
then never mind. It's
yes,
fine.
Okay. 96 is Peed in My Pants by Knuckleheads. And then jumping down to 81, we have When You Wish Upon a Death Star by the Great Luke Ski.
That was a tie, I think.
And tied with number 80 with Fake Adult by the Great Luke Ski.
Yes, he tied himself.
Which is also tied with Psycho Chicken by the Fools. So just so we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to say something real quick. This is I kind of want to call bullshit on Psycho Chicken because it wouldn't be that high if I hadn't put out a song called Chicken, which made a whole bunch of people that year say, "Oh, Chicken! Oh yeah, there's a song called Psycho Chicken. I'm going to request that." And then it made the top 10 multiple times instead of my song. And so if
I don't know if that was the totally the thing, Luke, because actually, so last year, I was in March or April, I guess. I was at Barry's studio, and we were going through a lot of tapes and stuff, and I ran across the tape of Psycho Chicken, and it said, I think it said unedited or something on it. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I need a transfer of that because I thought I had lost the uncensored version of it that I had at one point." And I said, "Okay, well, I'll take that home and transfer it." So I did transfer it. It turned out it was not uncensored. Actually, it was just more lightly censored than a lot of the versions. And so that's when he decided to play that song again. And I don't know how connected it was to your Chicken song that happened.
What was it? The one where they replaced the "what the fuck" with the chicken noise, or the one where they just censored "fuck"?
That was just a bleep, I think. So the clucking one was later, I think.
Okay.
So
But
to
apparently he had a completely uncensored version that somebody stole the tape of when he
Oh,
was at a
damn.
show or something. Anyway,
That's no good.
But
Yeah.
another thought I wanted to make before we moved on is that this is very vindicating for me that When You Wish Upon a Death Star made it onto this list, because due to the timing of when the news broke and when the song was produced, it was the news broke October 30th of 2012. I got that song put together in like 3 weeks based on fan demand and Dr. Demento himself emailing me asking if I'm going to do a piece about that news.
oh wow,
And so he played it in November, and then it made the November top 10 at number 1. So it ended up being number 18 for the Funny 25 of 2012. And then the next year, I was still trying to promote it, and it ended up being number 3 for the year. Behind number 2 is After Ever After by John Cozart, and number 1 was Mwahaha by Muklu the Mock. So basically, in my mind, it's like if things had shifted just slightly, maybe When You Wish Upon a Death Star might have been number 1 of 2013 or something. I don't have the point totals in front of me to know, or maybe it could have at least gotten in front of After Ever After or something. But because
if those 10 points from there, yeah, that's quite possible.
So who knows? So basically, I just always kind of, it won the friggin' Logan Award, so I shouldn't be complaining at all. But it's like, my point is just to see it make it onto this list where other songs of mine that were number 1 of the year didn't make the list. It's like, yes, and to have it be right next to Fake Adult, which is an original song of mine, not a parody. Like, that's just also something that makes me happy. So
yeah, cool. And I always worry about songs that debut in November, and then you got the Christmas shows and stuff. I was worried in 2003 when Great Idea for a Song by Worm Quartet, it debuted around November, and it got a little bit of action. And I said, now we got the Christmas shows, the Funny 25, and this is such an awesome song, and I'm worried people are going to forget about this song. But I was wrong. It hit number 1 the following year, and it really took over. So I was happy to be wrong about that. So
my main motivation for making the song "It's a Fanboy Christmas" was I was annoyed that there was a month of the year where none of my songs were ever going to get played. Christmas songs.
And then that one got played in 3 parts, so it got played every week. So good work on that.
So at number 74, we have Benedict Cumberbatch by Insane Ian, tied with Snoopy the Dog by the Great Luke Ski.
So I technically am tying with myself on that one because I'm on that song at least.
That's also tied with Polkamania by Weird Al.
I'm not on that song, if you're wondering.
I would like to point out that Carrie Dalby, her voice appears on all 3 of those songs of mine that made the top 100. So
I am stunned that Benedict Cumberbatch made it onto the top 100. 74 is nothing to sneeze at. That's like right in the first third of the end of the list. So I'm excited about that. I'm very happy and surprised, and that's just cool to me. So thank you for that bonus feeling of cool.
So then at number 63 we have Mwahaha by Ookla the Mock, and at number 58 we have I Made It With a Bagel and Cream Cheese by Sulu.
One of the newest tracks.
Yeah. And then The Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny is number 52. And that's it for FuMP or FuMP adjacent tracks.
Actually, Sulu's might be the newest track on there.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And the only way you can hear me on this list is you can in the background vocals of Fake Adult. So, yeah.
Oh, well.
You can hear my kid on Fake Adult better than you can hear me.
Yeah, but your kid's not the number 9 most requested artist.
No, I know. He doesn't even do music anymore.
How many songs on the Funny 25 of 2007 are your kids in? The top 5 positions.
They're not on any of those. So,
I wanted to mention to Jeff because he... You kind of here. Let me just read what you wrote because I copied it. One of your annotations to the way you calculated the list. Points for After Ever After 2 were combined with After Ever After to determine its ranking in the same spirit as Hello Mutta above, but this may have been the wrong tactic here. If counted separately, yes. After Ever After would be at number 68, and the follow-up would not be in the top 100. So yeah, that was the wrong tactic.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a completely different song other than the intro.
Yeah, I should maybe redo that. I don't know. I just at the time I was doing it, which was a couple weeks ago, it sounded right because of the Hellamato Hellapaz thing. But then later realized I was like, okay, the Hellamato thing is because that's the way Barry counted it. I mean, he counted those votes together, but he didn't count the votes together for After Ever Ever. So I could still update it. I mean, that wasn't a radio show. So
well, in my opinion, you should, but like I said, you've already done enough work.
Well, I will be doing more work forever. So
if making that adjustment will get me on this list somewhere, then definitely.
No, it will just move After Ever After around.
Yeah. It basically just slightly shifts numbers, 43 through 68.
Yeah, it just bumps everybody up one and then him down. So. Yeah, I think you're right. I should have changed that before I sent it out today. I was even thinking about it again today before I sent it out. I was like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. And then I meant to send it out yesterday, and I spent so long trying to get it together and then make all my annotations of stuff. And then I was distracted by this, that, and the other today. And I was like, I've got to get this out. So anyway, I might change it.
So
I probably will change it. I'll say that. I probably will go and change that. I made a note to change it. So thank you for your input.
So in the alternate universe or future time where you do make that change,
yes.
Just because this is of interest to me, here are the top 18 songs of the 21st century only.
Okay.
Number 1 is I've Got No More F's to Give by Thomas Benjamin Wilde Esquire. Right. Number 2, Institutionalized by Brack. Number 3, The Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny by Lemon Demon.
Hey, Luke.
Number 4, yeah.
Luke, every time you turn to look at that screen, you're moving your head away from your microphone and we can barely hear you.
Sorry. I'll start again. All right. Number 1, I've Got No More F's to Give by Thomas Benjamin Wilde Esquire. Number 2, Institutionalized by Brack. Number 3, The Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny by Lemon Demon. Number 4, I Made It With a Bagel and Cream Cheese by Sulu. Number 5, Ricky by Wolves of Glendale. Number 6, Mwahaha by Ukla the Mock. Number 7, White and Nerdy by Weird Al Yankovic. Number 8, After Ever After by John Cozart. Number 9, Snoopy the Dog by The Great Luke Ski. Number 10, Benedict Cumberbatch by Insane Ian. Number 11, Polka Mania by Weird Al Yankovic. Number 12, Fake Adult by The Great Luke Ski. Number 13, When You Wish Upon a Death Star by The Great Luke Ski. Number 14, Science Geek by The Amoeba People. Number 15, Peed in My Pants by Knuckleheads. Number 16, Great Idea for a Song by Worm Quartet. Number 17, Save Me Obama by Robert Lund. And number 18, The Hamilton Polka by Weird Al Yankovic.
And I think most of those were number one, year-end number ones, if not all. I didn't count every single one of them, but most of them were.
Was I Made It With a Bagel and Cream Cheese on that list?
Yeah, it was number 4.
Okay. I just missed hearing that one.
That one was not in number 1 year-end, I don't think, was it?
No.
No, because Ricky was.
Year-end, no. But
right.
it was on, because I looked it up. I couldn't believe that song was so high. So I looked it up I was like, wow, that thing was all over the charts. It was like for almost the entire year, every month it was on the countdown.
And same with Ricky, and same with Pokemania once it came out. So yeah, those 3 were just.
And and as far as the top 40 goes compared to the rest of the list, the 2 songs that didn't make the top 40 that I thought were a lock to make the top 40 were Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny and The Chainsaw Juggler. I'm surprised neither one of those made it to the top 40, but that's just me. Did anybody else have any songs you thought would make the top 40 that didn't make it?
I didn't really give it any thought. I just kind of listened to the show and enjoyed it.
I had no preconceptions. I'm a leaf on the wind, man.
Well, Time Warp almost made it, and actually, I recalculated the stats at one point, and in the original version of the stats, Time Warp did make it, and so did my Dead Dog Roper. And then when I changed the formula a little bit, and those 2 got pushed out, and in came Viagra in the Waters and It's a Gas. I mean, yes, It's a Gas came in because originally It's a Gas was on his previous week's show of the ones that didn't make it, and so we cut that out, and I used the intro from that in this show. I mean, not the recording, but he didn't record it. Anyway, no, he did record it, but anyway, I used what was going to be said.
By the way, the only reason I didn't try to shoehorn the Chainsaw Juggler into the lyrics of Smogberry Pie is because the Four Postmen had another big Funny 25 hit that rhymed with head. So
Yeah,
make you smile and
Yeah.
bet. Well, I got to work that into the chorus, so, you know.
Yeah, I picked up on that immediately, and I'm like, good.
And juggler, I don't know what rhymes with juggler. Huggler?
I would have found smuggler. That rhyme. I
Smuggler.
don't know.
There you go.
Something
Yeah.
about Han Solo. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to rewrite the song now.
No.
Just add like 4 more verses, Tony. Like
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Now, as far as shaving cream and combining those two, I think that was the right thing to do, to combine the all the versions of shaving cream into one, because otherwise we would have had to play shaving cream twice. And I thought, that's not really.
I mean,
that good.
different versions of the same song are one thing, but those two songs, other than the intro, are completely different songs.
Yeah. So I agree, and I should have. I'll change it. So. I did want to point out that when shaving cream was first out in the 40s, it was fairly taboo, and I don't know if it was the right taboo or the wrong taboo.
He did it.
Only an hour and 54 minutes into the show, folks. So
well, I've been waiting to say that this whole time, so I had to work it around to shaving cream. So.
all right. So, anybody have anything else before tour dates?
I do have a little bit of comedy music news.
Go for it.
Normally, Ninja Sex Party will announce a new song, but randomly, as of midnight, wherever you live, so if you're on the East Coast, this is out already on Spotify, Ninja Sex Party has released a brand new song with absolutely no fanfare, no mention of a music video. The new song, Zombie Handjob, is now available on Spotify. It is a song title that people may remember from Game Grumps of rejected NSP song titles. So they have apparently turned this into a real song. I don't know if it's an actual NSP song because this has been released without any fanfare. This could be an AI thing that's using their name. This could be somebody just making a track and saying it's a Ninja Sex Party. I'm not sure, but it's out on the East Coast. It's apparently been out in the Australian Spotify, but there's been no mention of it from NSP. This is either a release that was released prematurely, or it was something that just has popped up. Nobody's listened to it yet, so we're not sure if it's actually them or not. But at midnight on Spotify, wherever you live, you'll be able to hear maybe whatever the fuck this is.
All right.
I have a thing I'd like to mention.
Sure.
When I was trying to, because if I have the time, which I probably won't, I may actually, everybody except me has done I'm doing a Facebook post about Dr. Demento retiring, thing that they write. And I haven't done mine yet. I mean, you could argue that maybe my reaction video is my version of that, but I was considering writing one. And because I was trying to remember, when's the first time I ever heard of Dr. Demento? And I'm like, well, it was either seeing him on Real People, or it was hearing... I know I heard Another One Rides the Bus on a KTEL LP called Just for Laughs that had that song plus the bathroom version of My Bologna on it and a bunch of other classic Demento songs from the 70s and early 80s. And so I went to try to look up research on that album. I have a copy of it framed over there that Al has signed for me because that was the first time I ever heard his music or heard of him that I could remember. And then when I was doing this search just entering the name Just for Laughs, KTEL LP, blah, 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 suddenly an eBay link pops up and somebody's selling it for $15. When I was promoting FuMPFest in 2014, like going around to every record store in Chicago, putting up the poster, I hit every comedy section looking for this album and could not find it. So $15 later, I now have a second copy of this album.
Yay!
And looking at the back on the track listing, it doesn't say anything about Dr. Demento under Another One Rides the Bus. So that means the first time I heard something that Dr. Demento was directly involved with was '82, but I wouldn't have heard of him as a entity until he was on Real People. So that, it's kind of a 2-for-1 sort of thing. So there's
Well, that was around that time, though.
Yeah, yeah. So
the Real People segment when exactly, but
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck.
I just got home from work.
There's some comedy music news. Chuck's doing a weekly comedy show on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a DJ too. An hour ago, someone said no one's being a comedy DJ. I'm a comedy DJ.
Okay, I want to say something about your show, and Luke is the only one who's going to understand this. I want to take every time Flavor Flav says, "Hey, yo, Chuck," and cut it out of the music and just send it to Chuck to use as a bumper.
nice.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, yo, Chuck, man, show him what you got, or whatever he says. But I have to listen to Public Enemy's entire discography again and pick out the good ones.
Hey, yo, Chuck, my voice is booming, son, and I'm down in Bloomington. Yeah, boy.
Nice. Nice.
Or you could use audio. You could use audio from the pre-show of Muppet Vision 3D, where the dogs are all saying, "Hey, Chuck, Chuck,
Wait
hey,
a
Chuck."
minute. Wait a minute. Is Flavor Flav on Cameo? That's the question.
Oh, I would not be surprised either way.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it just
He
just as a comment.
he is on Cameo.
Wow.
It's $15,000 for a video. Sorry.
Yes, it is.
Christ.
If we can crowdfund $15,000 to make him say a bumper for my show, I'll use it every single one.
And you'll play a request from everybody who donates.
Oh, I see. So Flavor Flav is currently unavailable, but you can book a business video for $15,000. So he's not on
if you want to
right now.
If you want to crowdfund $15 and send it to me, I will record me doing impersonations of Flavor Flav.
That may also be suitable to be used. Or suitable for usage.
All right. Can we get to tour dates?
I suppose so.
All right. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. Sundays online, 2 Sleeps. The last Sunday of each month on Facebook, Lauren Mayer. Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. Wednesdays in San Francisco, California, Ben Vicini. On the 17th in WYES-TV, New Orleans, Louisiana, the Consortium of Genius. On the 18th in San Jose, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. On the 18th in Gutenberg, New Jersey, Carla Ulbrich. On the 22nd in Hoboken, New Jersey, David W. Jacobson. On the 23rd in Oak Park, Illinois, Carla Ulbrich. On the 25th in Toledo, Ohio, Mikey Mason. And on the 26th on YouTube, Escape from the Secret Lab, featuring the Consortium of Genius. Okay, now, we are 2 hours and 1 minute into the show. We have a second song coming up by Bad Beth and Beyond. The interview is about 10 minutes long. Then we're going to do feedback, and then I'm going to play the highlights reel from episode 700 through 799, which is 33 minutes long. So if any of you would like to say your goodbyes now and leave, I would not be offended.
I think I'm gonna say my goodbyes now and
All
leave.
right.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you for giving me so much love for Smogberry Pie. It was a joy to make. It was a labor of love.
It's a wonderful song.
And check out Escape from Walt Disney wherever podcasts are available. Yay! And whenever, because it takes me forever to edit them.
Now we need to figure out another tribute album to do so that Tony will make another song.
Yes, because apparently the only way we can get Tony to make songs is on tribute albums.
But if you ask Luke, I always have the best song on each tribute album. He said,
That's-
in
my humble opinion on, worst tribute ever, there's You Don't Know Jack, and then
Right.
we will all go together with go on the Tom Lehrer one, and then this one, and he just spikes the football at the end of the freaking game. Tony just rocks it. So
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. Maybe that'll be my thing. Is I only make songs for tribute albums. That you know what? I can think of worse niches. So
Yeah.
all right. Have a great rest of the show, folks, and I'll see y'all later.
All right. Bye,
Good night.
Tony.
Yeah. Bye bye.
I am probably going to go as well
Okay.
because I can't see the video.
No, but
so-
you can tune into Twitch while it's playing.
which is probably what I'm going to do, since I won't be able to interrupt the video and not have to be on here for that. So, yeah, I'm also things and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go do that now. And thanks for letting me talk about the show. And, congratulations to Barry on his retirement. Thank you, Jeff, for all the incredible work that you've done on that show. And that you did for these retrospectives and the final episode, and also for contacting us to let us be a part of that final episode with, saying our lovely things to Barry about us being in the most requested artists.
Yeah, that was
Also
awesome.
blowing my mind being one of those artists. And also congratulations to the FuMPCast for hitting 800 episodes. Holy shit.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't feel like you've been doing this podcast that long.
Dude, it feels like I've been doing that podcast that long tonight. We are.
That's because this episode will never end.
This episode is going to break the record. The current record is 2 hours and 24 minutes, and I've still got a half-hour video to play. So
yeah, you've got a half an hour video retrospective of the previous 100 episodes. And also a pre-recorded interview with somebody.
Yep.
And another song you have to play.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
So happy 800. Hope you make it to 900.
And I would like to congratulate Ian for being named the comedy music guest of honor at MarsCon 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be me. You sprung that on me the last time I was here. Yeah, so that's gonna be cool. Also, just as a reminder to people, if you're living in the Chicago area, on Devil's Night, October 30th, I am performing with former Fat Boys, Baron Von Future, Problems, and our headliner MC Lars at Chop Shop in Chicago. So come on out to that. That is Thursday, October 30th. That's going to be a fun show. Anyway, thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye, Ian.
Bye, Ian.
And it's interesting that this being the longest FuMPCast is about the longest National Dr. Demento show, in part.
Yes.
By far. And I had no idea when I was editing it. I was like, okay, 40 songs. We can normally get 40 songs in somewhere between 2 and 2.5 hours. I mean, these little, announcements from people, those are going to make it longer. And I thought, we're probably going to get close to 3 hours. And then it was over 3.5 hours. I was like, oh my God, this is way longer than I thought. And if I had known it was going to take that long, it probably would have been split into 2 parts, because that's the way they do the KMET episodes. But at that late, it was not until Friday night that I realized that, and I'm like, okay, we can't do that, because first of all, we can't charge people twice for an episode that was advertised as one episode. And so then I guess there must be some way that they could do it so that you get charged once but you get both of them. But then that would be asking Mose to do programming for that at the last minute, right before the final show goes out. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So it's just going to be 3.5 hours long. So
it's funny. When I submitted my request for the final all request episode, that was the first time I ever used that request form on the website.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of found a bug, and I emailed.
Yes, that's right.
I emailed Mose about it, or actually Mose emailed me because he got 3 emails from me from the request, because I told him what I did, and he goes, yeah, I guess that is kind of a bug, and he goes, there's no point in fixing it now, so I'm taking it down in a couple hours.
Yeah, I got copied on the request for that because I was helping put that together. So
okay,
yeah. So
before
I don't
on,
know what the bug was, but I did hear about that. So anyway.
Yeah, before we move on, I mentioned MarsCon here before Ian left. If only there was somebody else here who's doing MarsCon programming who could tell everyone about the cool programming that's coming up here on the podcast right now.
Me?
Yeah. Tell people about the thing.
I'm going to be putting on a panel that's more like a awesome lecture about the history and the awesome music of Weird Al Yankovic, and everyone should go to MarsCon so they can hear me talk to them for an hour or something. I think that's a really good idea.
But it's not just one panel. It's going to be a 2-part panel with part one part on Saturday and one part on Sunday in the morning before the concert starts. So it'll be part 1 and part 2 with Angel Chuck Gonzalez kicking some knowledge about Mr. Weird Al Yankovic, who I've heard is the most requested artist of all time on the Dr. Demento Show, according to some charts people have made.
I've heard that too.
I'm glad you were able to answer that, Chuck, because for a second I thought he was talking to me and I had no idea what he was talking about.
I got thrown off by the word programming. I'm like,
I could have added a person with red hair, but then that wouldn't have helped.
No, that wouldn't have helped at all.
No.
True.
Anyway, just wanted to throw that plug in case you guys want to take off at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get some sleep. And
okay. Jeff, before you leave, we have feedback for you.
Okay.
So, Eclectic Lee wrote, "Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the FuMPCast guest list database whenever I get around to updating it one day. In addition to talking about the final Dr. Demento show, I'd like to hear your perspective on how last week's Steve Goody song, There Will Be No Funny 25 in 2025, came together."
Well, I mean, that was, of course, all Steve's idea to do that song. And then he asked me if I would do a part on it, and I said not now, because that was in which show was that? That was on 2540, so I was in the middle of working on 2539 at that point, and I was like, I can't even think about this. I did not even listen to the song at that time. I'm like, I have to finish this show first, and then I'll consider it, but who knows, whatever. I'm like, why do you need me on it? But then actually, Chuck ended up playing it for me, like an early version of it or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is good. And then it had Steve. Yeah. And then I was like singing it all day or all week or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it had Steve. It had Steve at the end doing an exchange that was supposed to be between him and I, which I hadn't realized that's what it was at first. And I was like, oh, I guess this is probably the part that he wants me to do. Although I ended up completely rewriting what he had in there because I wasn't quite comfortable with what he wanted to say. And actually, we both had a bad reaction to one particular line, and he ended up changing it to something much funnier. So on
the rare occasion that he does intake the constructive criticism that we gave him, it was for the better.
Although, funny enough, I wrote Steve's greeting that was on the show, and he mostly used what I wrote rather than completely rewriting it as I would have expected him to. He just tweaked it a little bit, I guess. But anyway.
All right, cool.
I guess that's that.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Okay. I was going to comment just that we listened to the show Friday night, so before it went out, because I was like, I have to listen to this one before it goes out to make sure there are no mistakes. This is the last one. It's the big one. Even when I was just first putting it together, well, first of all, I was so impressed with how Barry sounded on this episode, because if you've been listening to the episodes recently, he had like a respiratory infection and stuff, and he wasn't sounding that great. And I was like, okay. And then when I got the voice tracks for this episode, I was like, oh my God, he really pulled it together. He sounds like he did in the old days. The promo for it was recorded the week before, so he doesn't sound as great on the promo, but on the actual episode, he sounds awesome. So even just hearing that almost like brought a tear to my eye just to hear that, oh my God, this is going to be so good. And then even though I wrote everything that he said with minor exceptions maybe, but so I already knew exactly what he was going to say. But when I was editing it together with the cheerio and with the opening theme and stuff and putting in the bumper and stuff like, oh, this is the last time we're going to hear this, even I, who wrote it, got just a little bit teary-eyed in putting it together. Of course, I had to focus on actually just getting it together. But anyway.
Yeah, I was hearing his final sign off was very emotional for me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But did you film it and put it on YouTube?
I
Devo?
did not. No. I was working out at the time. I didn't. Nobody wants to see that, believe me.
We're sweating tears. Tears of sweat. Sweat it was. Anyway.
Yeah, I asked them to record the final session, the final voice tracks session, and I don't know if they did. If they did, they haven't sent it to me. I just thought, but it wouldn't have been. I don't know how long it took, probably an hour or something. So it's not like it would be that interesting to watch it for a whole hour, I guess. But I thought, well, we should have some footage of that, just for reference, not to actually post online necessarily. But I did shoot some of myself editing it, but that took days. And so I was like, we can't do this whole thing. Maybe one song or something, one section, and even then I got probably an hour or something of video of just me working on little parts. I'm like, there's no way I can do the whole thing. But anyway.
It'll go into a TV newsreel someday or something like that.
There you go. I'm sure it will. Someday after TV is no longer a thing.
Right. Yeah. It'll go up on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Jeff. It was great having you.
Okay. Bye.
Great seeing you guys.
Bye.
I'm getting kicked out. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
You can stay, Chuck. I don't care.
Okay. I want to hang out.
Okay. Well, we got.
Get up tomorrow.
All right. So just to fill Chuck in, because I don't know if she heard before, we're going to play Bad Beth and Beyond song and then a pre-recorded interview with her. Then we're going to do feedback. And then I have a 33-minute highlights reel from the last 100 episodes. So feel free to bounce at any point if you were like, I can't do this anymore. So.
Okay.
All right, so here is the second song. I think, God, we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in. We're just getting to the second song. Second song of the week is also from the Dr. Demento tribute album. Here is Wanna Play Doctor by Bad Beth and Beyond.
My early life was really kind of crummy. The other girls sang songs of sipping cider through a straw, but I sang of how fish heads were so yummy that got into my scout troop leader's craw. But later I was crazy for guys. I knew just what to say if the occasion would rise. I'd say, wanna come upstairs and we'll play Dr. Demento. Play Dr. Demento on my radio. My knight in shining armor is top hat and Hansen. My frequency, frequently the demented way to go. It wasn't long before I was corrupted, stealing spam and shaving cream, some petty larceny. I never thought I'd see the consequences till I got busted trying to get a fake ID. But I couldn't take my eyes off the cop. He put those
jury find the defendant good or bad?
Bad.
The court I found myself in wasn't royal, not fit for a princess. I had finally gone astray. The jury shows no favor if you bounce your boobies. It seemed like they were coming to take me away. As the judge raised his gavel, I felt so free inside, and I began to unravel. I said, wanna come upstairs and we'll play Dr. Demento. Yeah, play Dr. Demento on my radio. My knight in shining armor is tough, hat, and handsome. My frequency, frequently the demented way to go. My frequency, frequently the demented way to go.
I am here with Bad Beth. How you doing, Beth?
I'm doing all right. After about 6 cups of coffee, I think I'm ready to proceed with this thing called life.
Yeah, I think that's what helped me this morning was the caffeine too.
Yeah.
So tell us about this song that you posted, which I'm blanking on the name of. Hang on. I want to play Doctor. That's it.
I think it's even better that you blanket on the name, because then I get to ask you as if I'm not citing the song title. If I say, want to play Doctor? You see how that works?
Yeah.
It's convenient when people forget the name of the song.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the song. I absolutely, sure. Yeah, anytime, whenever you're ready.
Well, it's basically kind of an origin story, because I wasn't always bad. I was, I tried to walk, be kind of a good girl when I was growing up, but I kept like tuning into the radio and hearing songs about, religion and politics and all kinds of things, and why you can't play the song on the radio. And I think my earliest was, I was like, did that guy just sing Another One Rides the Bus? Because I had to ride the bus, and it was pretty suboptimal. They had us, it was all squished together like sardines. We were like sitting on each other's laps, and if they'd have a standard sized bus, that would have been thing. But we had one of those little bitty ones.
Okay.
That's what they put all the gifted kids, together, like stacked like sardines, and it was, I thought, I've found my calling. Somebody gets me. And so I listened to more and more. And then it made me kind of, start to play tricks on some of the little bad kids, on the playground.
Yeah, I kind of had the same effect when I discovered the Dr. Demento show. I was like, yeah, this is kind of this is the sandbox I want to play in, regardless of where it leads.
Yeah, because the first time I tried to find a sandbox that I wanted to play in, it had cat turds in it. So
yeah, those are no good.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I'm speaking literally or figuratively here, but then it's, and then later finding the FuMP, it's like it was one letter away from some dastardly deeds that I did after I realized that I was demented. There was this kid who lived across the street from me. He was like, how those jokes about little Johnny with the dirty mind, why they exist.
Yeah.
It's because those kids really exist. And this one kid, he knew all the bad words, all of them. And it's luckily I had I had a little head start, just listening to the janitors after school, so that's how I learned all the bad words. But one day I said, have you heard of like the worst word you could say? I was a latchkey kid, okay? We would walk home from school, and he was walking his bike, and I don't know why I said that. I said, do you want to hear this is the worst word you can say, but you got to promise me you're not going to tell anybody. And I think that's the first time ever, might be the only time he ever said this in his life, and he's probably in his 50s by now, but he said, please. I couldn't believe it. There was a sprint in the time-space fabric, and so I just started stringing them along. It's like I can only give you the first letter, Z, and is what is it? What is it? You know, and I just kept stringing along, just making up this 4-letter word as I went. Just gave him like one letter at a time because we had a long way to walk. We were latchkey kids, and finally I said it's Zump, and he said Zump. I was like, shh, you can't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody this word. Zump, you can't. So he gets on his bike with this grin and he takes off and he's like riding his bike all over the neighborhood going, Zump, 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 Zump. So that's why, so when I found out that I had a chance to like get on with these people with the FuMP, I'm like, it's just one letter away from Zump. Which is the worst word you can possibly say. It's so bad, I can't even talk about it.
See, now I want to do a parody of Jump by Crisscross called Zump, or maybe Jump Around by...
Dead by 28, they kind of beat you to that one.
Yeah, they did FuMP, but I mean, yeah. But there's also Jump Around by House of Pain. We could do Zump Around.
We could do that because it's now an Urban Dictionary.
Is it really?
Yeah, I put it on Urban Dictionary, so it's... You can get yourself a little mug that says Zump on it, and it's got the definition, and you'll see on Urban Dictionary that it was submitted by Bad Beth and Beyond.
Nice. Excellent. So you've made your mark on the world with a made-up curse word.
I have with Zump.
I love it.
Let's talk about this.
Well, do you sell Zump merchandise?
We will absolutely sell Zump merchandise. It's the Zump on the FuMP. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf. Now you've got Zump on the FuMP.
Zump on the FuMP. I love it. Yes.
We're gonna do this.
Send me some merch. I'll add it to the store back here.
We're totally gonna do this. We are absolutely gonna do this.
We can make a compilation Zump on the FuMP of all our most obscene songs. God, we could do. Yeah. We could do a lot with this. I like this.
This is the legacy that the good doctor, he would love to see this continue. We now have to be the torchbearers.
It's really amazing how many lives he influenced just with his show. Because we always did like the thought experiment of like what would happen if either we never discovered the show or if the show didn't exist in the first place. And Luke and I would not know each other. Ian and I would not know each other. The FuMP certainly wouldn't exist. And, most of the things I've done in my adult life would not have happened,
Most of the things in your adult life, because that's a pretty big statement.
Yeah. And I stand by it.
Yeah. I stand by it too. It's, if it weren't for that, it's probably responsible for a lot of vasectomies in this country, So.
Could be, yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I never had one,
Well, yeah.
If I'd had the chance, I would have gotten one, but, I didn't qualify for a vasectomy.
So do you remember, like, how old you were when you first discovered the Dr. Demento Show?
I used to hear about it. I think, my older brother and his friends, like a lot of things that my older brother's friends introduced me to.
Okay.
So I kept hearing about this, and so then I was curious. So, of course, my mom and my dad, they tried to give me this little sheltered life, but I'm from Cajun, Louisiana originally. You wouldn't think about it, but sometimes when they go home, I start code switching me. I talk to my mama and my papa, and it all comes out, and then I go back to, then that's what happens. But so I made myself this radio, because Cajun people are resourceful. So I made, I got this, I can't talk, I gotta just code switch me. I got this propane tank and a couple of magnets and an alligator skull, and I made myself my own radio so I could tune in me.
I love it. And I'm picturing the doctor's voice coming out of a radio. Did you put out of a alligator skull? Did you put a top hat on the alligator?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I did me.
Well, I love the song, and I'm very happy it's part of the Dr. Demento tribute album that we put out.
Yeah, I just got more and more corrupted. and I will not apologize for just when the jury spoke and they said, bad. That was the
Yeah, what are
final.
you going to do?
That's who I am.
All right. So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Oh, I have lots of things I'd like to plug. You ask me this all the time.
I
and
know, yes.
On the radio, I got there's some things that I'll tell people not to see, because there's this chick who keeps trying to take credit for all of my stuff, and now she's her name is Beth Patterson, and she's trying to take credit for all of my songs, and now she's like, ooh, look at me, I'm on Spinal Tap too, so if you want to side with me, don't go see that film.
All right then.
She plays the same instrument that I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like she's trying to copy me.
Yeah, what are you going to do? All right, well, thank you for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Devo.
We will catch you next time.
All right.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback, that segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Hey, Luke, before we do feedback, Wildcard in the chat wants to know if Chuck's panels are going to be on the main stage so they can be streamed to Twitch.
No, they are going to be in a panel room, and she's going to have like a PowerPoint presentation to go with them, like a whole video aspect of it. So, yeah, we don't know which panel room, but it'll be a panel room thing, not a main stage thing.
Okay, so we might still be able to stream it, but it'll have to be a separate setup somehow.
Well, either that, or we could just like videotape it and then post the video of it later for people to view.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there. I can stream it with this rig if we just hook up a camera to something. I mean, that's a possibility.
So let me answer your question. Yes, we can stream it if somebody who's not Luke does all of the work to make it happen.
All right, feedback.
Alvarant
wrote, Devo, if you're curious about the Discworld series, I recommend either Small Gods or Pyramids, since they are standalone novels that are good early examples of the general tone. If you like them, then Mort, Guards, or Weird Sisters, depending on, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, WYRD, Weird Sisters, depending on if you like metaphysical, urban, or Shakespearean-themed fantasy. In the early books, Pratchett is still working out the world. The later books are like some of the MCU movies. They're great stories, but you get more little details out of them if you're caught up on everything. Do not read Hogfather until you're ready to accept a 7-foot skeleton dressing up as Santa being the hero. Well, you've sold me on the last one, at least. We'll see. I'm honestly not a big fantasy reader, but we'll see.
I'm not a big reader.
Well, I mean, I listen to most of my books. I don't actually read on paper, just because I'm a slow reader and it tends to give me a headache. But I do listen to quite a few books. All right. Eclectic Lee, we already talked about his feedback for Jeff. And
Draconis alert. Draconis alert. Draconis alert.
Draconis wrote, congratulations on 800 episodes. May we have 80,000 more under your care at least. Thank you, Draconis. I did the math. That would be 1,538 and a half years. So I'm apparently on the hook for this show until the year 3,563. And by then, the FuMP will have 160,000 songs on it. So we should be good by then.
So we'll have, like, maybe one more song from Tony Goldmark.
Yeah, probably. And
For who could ever learn to love a beast?
Father Beast wrote, so I played Smogberry Pie for my daughter, and she didn't get it much. She said it was because she isn't that familiar with the history of the Dr. Demento Show. Then we got into the 4 main versions of the song, those being Smogberry Pie, Shakespearean Pie, The Saga Begins, and the original by Don McLean. She also does not get the original, since it's mostly a snapshot of pop culture of the time. The Saga Begins and Shakespearean Pie are more accessible to those who don't know what they are talking about, because they tell a story, one about Star Wars Episode 1 and the other about Hamlet. I recall when I first heard Shakespearean Pie, it inspired me to go and read Hamlet, which I had somehow missed out on. We did both agree that Shakespearean Pie has the best writing, possibly exceeding the original, but what do you guys think? P.S. I realize that there are a bunch of parodies of American Pie out there, and I admit I haven't hunted them all down, but I think these are probably the best. So for those of you who don't remember, Shakespearean Pie was an early FuMP track by Robert London Spaff. And yes, it retells Hamlet, and I am not a Shakespeare guy. I just never got into his stuff. I had to read some of it in high school. I saw a bunch of the plays, and I just... not for me. So of the 4 versions, my favorite is Smogberry Pie. I honestly think Tony's song is better than The Saga Begins.
Yeah, I mean, as far as taking advantage of the original version of the song to its maximum capacity, Tony absolutely crushed that. I mean, Saga Begins is awesome. It's been a long time since I've listened to Shakespearean Pie, and I'm not a super huge Shakespeare person. I mean, I'm most familiar with Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. I've seen a few other Shakespeare plays and movies and stuff, so, but I thought London Spaff did an awesome song on that song. And the Westerosi Pie I never got into, mainly just because I haven't read or seen all of Game of Thrones. I watched like season 1 of Game of Thrones, and I was barely able to keep up with what was going on, and then I don't know, I just decided I didn't have the time to try to ingest this show that involves so much lore. That I remember the DVD box set actually came with like a thing you could fold out, and it had like the family tree showing who's connected to who in what way, and I'm like, nice. I don't have time for that, so...
yeah, Haunted Hotel is much easier to keep track of.
Yes.
So I recommend that one.
Because when one of the brief stints when my roommate was actually here, she had her friend Brent Knoll over, he's worked on Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites, and he actually did some work on Haunted Hotel, and they were watching it, but I showed up like halfway through them watching the first episode, and I'm like, oh crap! I don't want to sit there and watch it with them now that they've already started. I'm gonna wait and just watch it from the beginning or whatever. But from what I can pick up on, it looks like it's a funny show, and I intend to watch it.
It's very good.
Yeah. So.
All right, moving on.
Oh wait, there's something else I wanted to mention. And because I was gonna mention it way earlier and then I forgot, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to mention it again. Many, many years ago, this might have been part of the You Pick Luke's FuMP thing that I did way back in the day on the Bad Report podcast. I had an idea to do a parody of American Pie about Saturday Night Live, and it was going to be called The Day Saturday Night Died, because, in my opinion, like, I watched Saturday Night Live from, like, the last season Eddie Murphy was on, like, at the very end, through to today. But there was one period of time that I looked it up, and it was, like, seasons 23 through 25. I just couldn't watch it because there was something about the show that I just didn't like the humor, and I found it really grating. And it's not her fault entirely, but those were the years when Sherry O'Terry was on the show.
Do you know what years those were?
I bet I could Google it really quick. Let's see. Wait, Alexa, what years were Sherry O'Terry on Saturday Night Live?
Smashing machine. If I had legs, I'd kick you.
Did you hear any of that?
Yeah, something about the smashing machine. If I had legs, I'd kick you.
Okay. on Saturday. It says 1995 to 2000.
Okay.
So yeah, there was something about like, and that was like right when Will Ferrell had started too, and they would always team her up with Will Ferrell in sketches. And for me, Will Ferrell is very like hit or miss, but in the either completely hit 100% brilliant or completely miss, I don't want to watch it. Is for some reason that's my vibe with him most of the time. And just every sketch they put the two of them in, it was so grating for me, and I just didn't want to watch it. So for me, that's my era of, I don't think Saturday Night Live is that good anymore. I would only watch it if I heard like some person I really loved would be hosting the show. So at some point, I got the idea in my life to do a parody of American Pie called The Day Saturday Night Died, kind of leading up to that era. And the main reason I thought this was a good idea was I wanted it in the chorus to be like, they drove Chevy to the levee, but Chevy was dry. That was the main joke I wanted to get across in that song. You know, and I suppose it would have made sense because it was the kind of show where you could mention all these things like Wayne's World and the Coneheads and all these other things that, you know, but yeah, I ended up not doing it. But that would have been my parody of American Pie had I done one.
All right, then. All right, over on YouTube. A-Log!
Oh my god, it's you, not again!
A-Log wrote, to somewhat reiterate from the original post, Dolt! Sorry for mixing up my doctors. I was a bit too emotional to think straight when I wrote that. Thanks for calling me out on that, guys. And in regards to what Steve says, yeah, I know my show's the whacked out 40 isn't the same as the funny 25, and I know we all can't be Dr. Demento, and trust me, those are some big shoes to fill. But I'm sure listeners can still check out alternatives and go, hey, he may not be Dr. Demento, but he's still entertaining with his own musical knowledge. You can also add, at least he has new stuff on his show and not just the old standbys. Other than that, good luck to guys Good luck to guys as your show reaches the big 800. Thank you, A-Log. All right, that's it for feedback. So,
yeah, I mean, I used to do a show too on Dementia Radio, Dementia Revolution.
Yep, that's why this show is on Thursday night.
Yes, and every so often I get an itch to like want to do it again, but then I just go back to, but then I just default back to, well, it'll make more sense to do it as a podcast, and then I remember, oh yeah, if I try to make it as a podcast, I can only use PodSafe music, and that it limits it enough that it makes it annoying that it's like
Okay, so enabler that I am, let me plant something into your head. Apparently, and I haven't seen this firsthand, but apparently there are DJs going live on TikTok for hours at a time playing music. And because TikTok has the license for almost all music, they can play whatever. So if you want to do a live, a radio show like the Dr. Demento show, you might be able to do it live on TikTok. Now, me being me, if I did that, I would record it for posterity, even if I never released them anywhere. But that is an option.
It's good to know. I mean, I have another idea for a comedy music podcast that would help me get around that, and I don't want to explain what it is because if I decide to do it someday, I'll just let people find it out when I do it. But, right now I have too many other things going on in my life and a job that keeps me too busy to, do dang near anything. I mean, MarsCon itself is going to be really hard to figure out how to plan, which is why I'm starting so early, because I know that November and December, they literally may have me working 8 to 12 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week at the package processing facility, and I'm probably not going to have the time or energy to do much of anything. So I'm going to try to get MarsCon started early this year, so that by the time, Thanksgiving rolls around, hopefully most of the big work will already have been done by then. So,
Wildcard also says live DJs here on Twitch as well, so that's an option as well.
Yep. So,
all right, are you going to hang out for this, Luke, or are you going to head off?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right. As we said at the beginning of the show, however many hours ago that was, this is episode 800, and as is tradition on this show, every 100 episodes, I put together a best-of clip of, highlights from the previous 100 episodes. So here's what I came up with for the highlights from episodes 700 through 799. Enjoy. See, we're both doing it now with the thing and the songs that we're getting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hamner Hack. Hamner Hack Road.
What did he write? Just fucking say it. I've got gravy to deliver.
Speaking of hats, I lost mine. Like the Devo Spice hat that I made that I've been wearing for the past 12 years or so. I packed it for FuMPFest. It was one of the last things I packed. I put it into a box that I brought with me to FuMPFest. When I got to FuMPFest, I couldn't find it. And I was so frantic anyway, I didn't even worry about it. But that's why I wasn't wearing my hat all weekend. And then I came home and I was like, all right, I'll find it when I unpack. I have no idea where it is. I've unpacked everything. No idea. So maybe it'll show up. It's time for me to make a new one anyway, but it's just weird that it just disappeared.
Maybe was at any point Chuck near your luggage?
Chuck, did you take my hat? We'll see if she's in the chat. I don't know. So, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, I did a Christmas. Perchance, did you do a Christmas?
I did a Christmas too. I did a tree. I did the lights. I did a Christmas.
I wanted to tell a story of something that happened at my 50th birthday concert event thing. At some point, I got off between songs on a riff talking about how amazing and great the funny music world is because we keep discovering new acts keep coming along that are great that we never heard of a year or two before, blah blah blah. And then out loud, because I'm pumped full of adrenaline and talking, I'm just like, it's like I'm sitting there and then the Wolves of Glendale, where did they come from? And then Tony and three other people all yelled Glendale. And then I just turned around and I walked into the wall. I'm going to walk right into this thing as long as I'm walking right into things.
So, hey, look, it's an adorable cartoon of Jace McClain. Who says the very opening line of the promo. So there you go. There's your advanced sneak preview of the promo. The next part of it is me writing in that same space the phrase because I'm saying the audio, so I'm putting the words to go underneath it. The world's longest running comedy music concert series is back, and the fact that it says MarsCon comedy music track, and I'm also writing comedy music under that, is the most redundant scrawl that I could think of.
I missed the button. I clicked on it twice and I missed it. So I need I remember those easy buttons that Staples used to sell where you just I want to get one of those on my desk so I can just smack it and trigger the sound. I'll have to look into that. And I remember when Off the Deep End came out, Weird Al went on the Dr. Demento show to talk about it, and he was talking about the songs on the album, and he goes, and we have a Milli Vanilli parody, which I guess is redundant at this point.
I absolutely want for some ice cream man somewhere in the world to have a flavor called Milli Vanilli.
Ooh. That sounds like something that Ben and Jerry's would do.
It does. And they should. Ben and Jerry's, get on it.
They should, yeah. They have mint chocolate Chance, which is Chance the Rapper flavor. It's actually really good.
The Milli Vanilli Ben and Jerry's flavor would actually be Breyer's ice cream put into a Ben and Jerry's container.
Nice. All right. News. 2D6's new release, Live at Casa Bug Skull, is now finally available, featuring songs like Metal Mario's Diarrhea Burger Blasted, The Doctor Said the Hair on My Balls is Terminal, and Adoption's Fear Fart. As always, their titles are deep and meaningful. They have guest appearances on this album.
I'm so glad to know that those specific songs that I'm very familiar with, what they are, were told to me on this podcast. I'm now very motivated to get this album based on that information.
That was the idea. I'm glad it worked.
So last week, I went to the 999 tour of MC Lars, Schaefer the Dark Lord, MC Snacks, Shubzilla, and Bill Beats, and it was a great time. And I ended up being a part of the show because the venue was, this bar was a lot smaller a space than I figured it would be. So I just kind of stood at the end of the bar, it was near the stage, and was just enjoying the show. And I found out after the fact that MC Lars during the shows that they've been doing up till this point had this habit of being at any given point during a show, between songs. Hold on. Excuse me.
Bless you.
He would. Thank you. He would. He'd go to MC Snacks, who's kind of the newcomer of the group, relatively speaking, and he would just whenever he would something would come up in their stage banter, it'd be like MC Snacks, tell us about the history of Newfoundland, and he would just bring MC Snacks up on stage and make him talk or about whatever, and that would happen several times. And I had no idea that was a thing. So apparently, having seen me, in the room, both Lars and Schaefer, they knew I were there. They knew I was there, and also the very beginning of the show, MC Snacks is because his name is MC Snacks, he wanted to do some snack trivia, and he said hey, who wants to answer a trivia question? And I was just whatever, and he comes up, what's your name? I'll go Luke, and he looks at me for a second, he goes, are you the great Luke Ski? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, oh my God. He was momentarily starstruck because I never expect anybody to have any context for who I am.
Right.
I just figure
me
I'm another dude seeing the MC Lars show.
Yep.
So the fact that he knew who I was kind of neat. So he asks me a trivia question. He asks me what candy was from the movie E.T. And then I came back with, well, if you looked at the original script, it was M&M's, but then they turned them down, so it ended up being Reese's Pieces.
Right.
And he didn't know that. I'm like, how did you not know that? You're
right. Everybody did that. Yes.
So I won. He gave me a bag of Reese's Pieces. So it was my first, little moment of being on stage was with MC Snacks. And so then later on in the show, Lars just starts going he's going to perform Download This Song. So he's like, Lukeski, come on stage and tell him about the FuMP. So I came up there and I told him about the FuMP.com and how that ties into Download This Song. And I also mentioned, kind of the story of how I first met him on alt.music.weird al back in the day, and how that led to Download This Song, being the video for it automatically uploading to my TiVo one day that Stephanie, my wife at the time, saw that, and that just that whole story. And then he does the song, and at the end of the song, he's like, Luke, come on stage and explain what a TiVo is. So I get on stage, and I'm like, okay, so a TiVo is this, and it's a box, and it saves your shows, and blah, 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 blah. And then after he immediately says, Luke, explain what a VCR is. and I'm like, all right, well, if you're keeping me on stage this long, Gilbert has to come out. So I'm like, okay, so you have a thing, and it sits here on the desk, and it's you have a thing the size of a lunchbox, and then you stick it in the thing, and then it flashes at you, 12 o'clock, fuck you, 12 o'clock, and you put it in there, and you press play, and if you're really lucky, you can watch Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol. And then he kept bringing me up throughout the whole night. He's like, Luke, explain the plot of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Can you impersonate Roger Rabbit too?
Well, I can, but at the time I just went with the regular explanation, please, Eddie, because so at the very last one, at the very end of the night, the whole cast is on stage and they're about to close with Mr. Raven, and he goes, Luxie, explain the Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. You have keep it under 10 minutes. And then like Shubzilla sits down to start taking off her shoes and everyone gets relaxed. And I go to the mic and I go, he was sad and he wrote a poem about a bird. Shubzilla's like, that's it. Then they start the song. So it was a unique night, to say the least. So, yeah.
The chorus of the song is this girl shaking her butt, and she's like, this is where my poop comes out. This is where my poop comes out. And just over and over and over. And like every time I hear a song about butts, that's all I can think of.
There does seem to be a general increase in songs about butts. If you look at a timeline from the 50s over here, songs about butts would be very minimal. Then as you go through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and now, the songs about butts increase precipitously. So I think we would see that general trend, and you're kind of riding that, which is cool.
I'm not leading the way. I'm just part of the trend, probably. But yeah.
It's the Fibonacci derriere sequence.
Yeah.
It's part of the zeitgeist of our.
It's now a perfectly acceptable song topic. So
Yes, you've cracked that market.
Hey-o.
Womp womp.
Hey, can I stand up? I want to see your Has Been Hotel shirt. Stand up.
Oh yes. Well,
I just watched that. Just finished watching that.
Hang on, let me pin Luke.
So yeah, pretty much got the whole main cast here.
That's really cool.
And of course, I'm wearing this in honor of going to see Beetlejuice tonight because I figured, well, here's a show full of wacky dead people. So
a show full of wacky dead people.
Oh, those wacky dead people.
Which could also be a slogan for like the History Channel. Shows full of wacky dead people. Up next, World War II. Wah, wah.
I think the History Channel would get a lot more viewers if it had Spike Jonze-esque sound effects. That'd be probably more appropriate.
That'd be amazing. And the FuMP newsletter for October went out today. If you're not on our mailing list, go to tiny.cc/FuMP1024 for October 2024. Tiny.cc/FuMP1024. And actually, I still have to set that up, that shortened URL. So it's not going to work at the moment, but it will work soon.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I have a slight issue with the FuMP newsletter.
What's that?
And I guess I don't know who to direct this at. Probably Lee, because he's the one who puts them together. When it came to the part about FuMPFest listing off the winners of the video contest, he's like, here's the winners in ascending order, and then he lists the third place video, followed by the second place video, followed by the first place video. But next to them, they're labeled 1, 2, and 3. So it looks like the third place video has a 1 next to it.
You're right.
Second is 2, and the first place video has a 3 next to it. So it makes it look like the opposite order of prizes were given.
Yes, you're right. I'm looking
Why
at it
would you
now.
put numbers next? It's like you could have changed. It's like first, second, third. It's like, do that.
Yes, and I'm surprised I didn't catch that.
That makes no sense at all.
I know I proofread the newsletter, and I'm surprised I didn't catch that. So you can blame me for that because I do edit this thing.
So justice for Chuck. Chuck came in first.
Yes.
God damn it.
Yes, Chuck's video for Jane Doe was the winner. Second place was Ian's video for Winter Sleigh Ride, and third place was Dee's video for 2 Trucks. Just for the record, so we're all clear here. Okay, before we get to feedback, I need to talk about this newsletter. So, for those who don't know, programming HTML newsletters is a pain in the ass. HTML emails, I mean, not necessarily newsletters, but programming HTML emails by hand is a pain in the ass. And the reason is that specifically Outlook Express and the other Microsoft-based email clients that like 90% of the planet uses a like 20-year-old HTML renderer that was originally part of Microsoft Word. And you have to program it the old way using tables, and you have to do inline styles, and there's all sorts of hoops you have to jump through to get it to look how you want it to look. So we don't code the HTML directly, other than a couple of little, fill-in things. So we use a MailChimp's WYSIWYG editor. So I don't know how Lee put together that list of the winning numbers, but I can tell you, if you click on the view in web browser, which pulls up the web version, the numbers are correct. It says 3 is D, 2 is E, and 1 is Chuck. In the email, they're wrong. So it's the same code. This is what we deal with as web developers trying to code emails. And I've never run into this particular problem before, but this is amusing. So we're going to have to look into how he coded this and figure out yeah. So good times.
That is fucking bananas. That is bananas. That makes no sense.
No, it does not. Welcome to the world of HTML emails. Where were we? Did you guys get through all the MarsCon news and everything?
We discussed all the MarsCon things. We discussed things about MarsCon that we've never discussed before. We got into the intricacies of how the voting process works in the Logan Awards.
Okay.
So if people have confusion about it, we can just direct them to this episode now, because apparently some people are having confusion with it, which I have not heard about for the past 6 years, but now realize that, my instructions might be a little confusing, which is why I've been kind of stressing a lot before that in this episode. But now we have a whole thing about it here. So let's move on, please.
Let's move on. All right. Tour dates.
If this were like a Johnny Carson classic style talk show, we'd have to be like, "Well, sorry, Durwood, we're out of time."
Our apologies to Durwood and Matt Damon. We'll get to you next time.
So he.
Wow.
The remote is not turned on yet. Here we go. So yes, he turns around, he goes forward and back, and then he also has arms that, his 3 arms he can move back and forth and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Does he vacuum?
Yeah. And then you can hit the button and, or hit one of his speech buttons, he'll say stuff. He has this noise. Because he's a DJ.
DJ What's His Face is scratching his balls.
DJ What's Its Face is fixing the hyperdrive.
And Wildcard just subscribed as well. Oh, now we got a train.
Actually, he did respond to you. You just didn't recognize it because it was such an exotic answer.
Oh, right away.
Wait a minute. What the hell was that? Oh, that's the train. Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm on the thing there. That's it was the FuMP hype train sound right as I clicked the wrong button, so I was like, "What?" Okay.
So many Twitch noises.
I know. I played bass.
We're slowly turning into one of those cam girl sites where when guys do things, you hear the sound effects of the money coming in.
And how would you know what that sounds like?
Because I watch porn, Ian.
I thought that was Devo's thing. You're the cartoons guy.
I'm multifaceted.
Well, I don't know what it sounds like when money comes in, so that's a different thing.
I don't know what it sounds like. I always have it muted. I mean, never mind.
So they did the ultrasound on my heart, and my heart's fine. So there was nothing further to hold me in the hospital. So they released me Sunday around lunchtime or so. So wow. That was my big adventure over the weekend. That was so much fun.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hey, if you want a port installed, I know a guy.
God, if only there was a song about how the reactions of emergency services were quite laughable.
Indeed.
Something
Like something's a joke almost.
A song with flavor.
Yeah, a song with flavor. Yeah.
A song that would make you get up and then get down.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that's what I did in the garage, right on my face, even. So,
and then you said, "Ow!"
Yeah,
ow!
I did, as a matter of fact.
If I couldn't get a line to scan right, I was just going to throw in another beat.
Throw in a couple
if I
extra
had
syllables
to.
into the line. Yeah, we're familiar with that process.
But you know, it was just, I got too much of it done without doing that. I didn't want to just do that in like one or two spots.
So
I
here's a
ended up-
challenge for you. Write a song where the first line is in 2/4, the second line is in 3/4, the third line is in 4/4, the next line is in 5/4, then it goes into 6/4 and 7/4, and just keep doing that.
By the end of the song, it's just 247.
Yeah. You can do it.
I mean, you're carrying on a proud tradition of songs that were originally other songs. I mean, you know, the Beatles' Yesterday was, oddly enough, originally a song about shoving cactuses up your butt. So
yeah, who knew?
And when your album comes out, you can call it Trying Times.
Cactuses up my butt. Like that. Anyway.
Dun dun dun. That was a good one, Luke. That took me a second, but that was good.
Oh.
The joke had to go all the way to New Jersey, bounce all the way back to Koreatown,
California,
across the country. There's the lag for the week.
The other day, I was working on a show that was filming in Chicago for only about a week. I did 2 days on that show. The first day, I worked as a stand-in, which is a little different than being an extra. As a stand-in, basically they say, well, you're the same height as our actor that you're standing in for. We're going to give you an outfit that kind of matches the outfit that they're going to wear on camera. And then when we're setting up the camera shot and the lights and whatever, you go stand in their spot and do the motions that they would do. Watch them rehearse the scene and then go and be in their space. And so that we can get the cameras and eye lines right and everything. And then we can call the actors back into the shot and have them do their scene. You get paid a little bit more than you get paid as an extra to do this. I can't really say what show I was on, but the person I stood in for was Sean Cullen from Corky and the Juice Pigs.
Really? Nice.
So Sean Cullen is a comedian in his own right, just outside of Corky and the Juice Pigs.
Yeah, his album is amazing. It's absolutely
his
amazing.
stuff's great. I've been a big fan of his, and like he came over and he introduced himself, and like as I'm sitting there, he came over and he goes, "Oh yeah, clearly, you are my stand-in. There's such a striking resemblance between the two of us. Here I am, big beard, and him, clean shaven and in a suit." And I was like, "Yeah, it's like you're my doppelganger." And I'm like thinking to myself, "This guy looks really familiar. Why can I not place him?" And this show normally is filming in Toronto, but the series takes place in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So they were in Chicago for a week to get exterior shots. So I look at my sides and the call sheet on the front of it, and it says Sean Cullen. I went, holy shit. And I was like, I just recognized you. I'm a huge Corky and the Juice Pigs fan. I'm a huge fan of your work. So we chatted a little bit about stuff, and that was really cool.
And then you talked him into joining the FuMP.
I wish. I couldn't talk to him too long, so unfortunately was not able to get any of that out. But a couple days later, we were filming at Wrigley Stadium during a Cubs versus White Sox game. We were filming during the game. I was working as an extra this time, and I can't say what show it was, but the lead of another show that this is a spin-off of and the lead of this show were spotted in the stands because, we were filming there, and it wound up during the Cubs broadcast. So during the Cubs broadcast, you see these two leads, you have people speculating what show it is, but 2 seats down, literally 2 seats down from the leads, you see me. So I wound up on TV before I wound up on TV.
Nice.
Now, I assume this is one of those procedural type shows. So I'm curious, Sean Cullen's character, does he get killed by the food of his choice?
I wish it was by the food of his choice. I cannot say what happens to Sean Cullen's character, but it is a brief encounter.
No, hopefully he doesn't end up in a shitstorm.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just going to name drop all of my favorite Sean Cullen songs.
Please do. Yeah. All right. You got anything before tour dates?
Just Spaceballs 2, which technically isn't comedy music related.
But it will be if I'm involved.
For it anyway.
Mel, you want to? I know you're watching right now, Mel. You want a theme song? I'll give you a theme song.
Yes.
Because I'm sure Mel Brooks has nothing better to do on a Thursday night than watch us.
Somebody was kind of, wondering, well, who is if Josh Gad's in the movie, who's he going to play? And people were, assuming, well, he's probably going to play like, the son of John Candy's character, Barf the Mog.
Yeah.
And I commented somewhere like the name of that character better be Woof, son of Mog.
Wow, dude. They will not do that, but that's good. That's a good one. That's wow.
So there's a joke in there that like the insect taxonomist definitely went like, oh fuck yeah, and like everyone else is probably like, that was just silly. So the line, there's nothing hotter to me than a dichotomous key. So a dichotomous key is how you tell which species are which. Essentially, you say, okay, if it has this many hairs on its thorax, it's this species, and if it has this many, it's another one. So it's like, it's that, but a whole bunch of insects, the way they identify them is by their genitalia. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them, the genitalia are actually internal, and so they have this little device where they sort of puff air into the thorax of the insect and invert its genitalia, and they go like, oh, it looks like that. It's one of these species instead of those species. And so there's a whole bunch of bugs that they actually do identify by their genitalia, but specifically by inflating their genitalia with tiny puffs of air.
Learn something new on the FuMPCast every day, folks.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And there aren't many of those machines that actually inflate insect genitalia.
I can't imagine there's a huge demand for them. Like you can't go down to Walmart and pick one up, right?
So in a lot of in Australia, you will have people like, well, I need to go to Canberra to use the little insect genital inflation machine. And
is that what it's called, or does it have a proper name?
I'm sure. So if it's like everything else, it's like someone gave it a really stupid name, like a poofer or something like that. That's now just a technical term.
Oh, it needs to be called a fluffer.
A fluffer, yes. Fuck, it absolutely should be called a fluffer. Yeah, the insect fluffer.
And before I got a chance to talk to him, he ran over and hugged me, and my immediate reaction was, hello. And I realized when he hugged me and I said, hello, it was directly into his ear. I heard me say it. I don't think anybody else heard me say it, except Tom Lennon, because it was right there in his ear. So it became the most awkward celebrity interaction I've had this year. Hooray.
Makes you feel any better. When I meet famous people and they're polite and they say something like, "Hi, Carla, I'm Phil Keggy," and I'm like, I know.
It is a kitty. It is a kitty. I like kitty. Hi, Luke Ski.
Yes. Hi, this is Qbert. I'm giving him pets. Also here is Insane Ian.
For some reason, I don't even know why I'm here. Hello.
I don't know why you're here either, so Luke told me to invite you. I invite you. That's why I do what Luke tells me to do. That's what I do.
Well, if we want to just, I had some notes. I wanted to ask Ian some questions.
Luke has notes. Uh-oh.
Have you seen... Okay, Ian, have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters?
Nope.
Oh, have you seen Peacemaker Season 2?
The 3 episodes they've aired so far, yes.
And you dig those?
I mean, I love Peacemaker. Yeah.
Who's your favorite character on season 2?
Season 2.
Well, I guess in general.
I mean, because they're all the same characters we've had from season 1, with the exception of Tim Meadows doing the straight man stuff that he does in everything amazingly. The dude with bird blindness. He plays Agent Flurry, which doesn't sound like Fury at all. Yeah, no, I probably Tim Meadows' character right now for season 2. But we're only 3 episodes in, so.
Well, cool. Oh, and do you want to be the music guest of honor at MarsCon 2026?
Yeah. Here's something really funny. I was considering auditioning for a play that would go up in March. Guess I'm not auditioning now. Wow. I am honored to be asked. Yes, I would love to.
So to recap here, Ian has not seen K-pop Demon Hunters. He should. No. Devo, do you agree that he should?
Yes, he absolutely should. It's very good.
He is enjoying Peacemaker Season 2, in particular Tim Meadows playing a role that only Tim Meadows can pull off, I think.
Pretty much, yeah.
And Insane Ian will be the comedy music guest of honor of MarsCon 2026. So, we have now covered all of that right here at the top of the show, and Hubert has been here for the whole time. I did want to tell you, don't be alarmed, but the FuMP has been hacked.
Oh, God.
Go to thefump.com.
Uh-huh.
And click on the artists page. Are you there?
Yeah.
Who's the first artist listed?
Meow Meme. I know how that happened, too.
Yeah. Alexand texted me the other day saying, I've hacked the FuMP. I changed the alphabetical number so that I'm listed first on the artist page. And then she said, do you think it'd be okay if it's left that way for a while? I'm like, well, I think generally Devo wants them to be in alphabetical order. And then I started talking with her like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea. We could have at the top of the artist page like newest artists, and they could be like the like 1 to 4 newest artists there just for the sake of being like, hey, here's who's new.
That's not a bad idea, actually. I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I could do that.
Because I figured that would be simple enough.
Yeah, that I could do.
But
she wrote her name. Because in the database, we have the artist name, and then we have the artist name alphabetically. So, like, you can put the at the end, and not everyone is alphabetized under T if you have the in your name. So Meow Meme put as her name alphabetically 111111, and I don't know how many ones there are, but there are a substantial amount of ones in this name. So
just to make sure that she was ahead of 2 Sleeps, who begins with a 2.
You're right. Yes, that's why she did that.
Sorry.
I think there you have it. I think my favorite line in all of that was, because I watch porn, Ian. Oh, God.
And I wanted to follow up on the newsletter issue. The way Lee programmed those numbers was using what's called list items in HTML. It's just an LI tag, and when you have a whole bunch of items, you just put LI around each item, and it automatically numbers them. It'll do a bullet. It'll do a bunch of different types of lists. If you set it to be a numbered list, it'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a parameter, I believe it's called reversed or something to that effect. And if you put that in it, it does it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It switches them. Well, apparently email doesn't support that reversed attribute. So the list item, that's why it worked properly when you viewed it on the web, because the website supports everything. But when you viewed it on the email, it didn't. It just rendered it like a normal list item. So that's what happened there. So now, lesson learned, don't use list items in emails. So
Now we know. And
now
knowing is
you
half
know.
the battle.
Yes. All right.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's song is the new song by Worm Quartet.
By tomorrow's song, do you mean today's song? Because
Yeah, but surprisingly, it's not live yet. I think the servers are still on Mountain Time because Beth's song is still up. I actually looked to see if it was live. And Tuesday's song is by the Belle Isle Rats.
All right.
Spotify playlist topic. I was going to do the top 10 songs from the Dr. Demento show, or as many of them as are on Spotify.
Okay.
And I'm going to do all of this, including post this episode in the morning, because I need to go to bed. So...
And let's just state for the record, in case it isn't obvious, us making that playlist, those songs, does not in any way mean that we're saying listen to that instead of listening to the final episode of the Dr. Demento show. By all means, go listen to the final episode. It's well worth the whatever it is, $3 to listen to this 3.5 hour amazing episode that Jeff and Barry put together, and you can hear everyone's greetings. Shoebox's greeting is hilarious. It made me laugh a lot. So, yeah. And once again, go look at my reaction video on my YouTube page.
Yes. All right. So, Tony Goldmark, check out his podcast, Escape from Walt Disney. Bad Beth is on Facebook at facebook.com/showmeonthedoll69. Insane Ian is at insaneian.com and insaneian.bandcamp.com. Shoebox is at wormquartet.com and wormquartet.bandcamp.com. Jeff Morris's hard work can be found at dmdb.org, the Dementia Music Database.
And Lee Seitz has to add Angel, aka Chuck, to the list too if she hasn't already been on the show.
I think she's already been on the show.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Not 100% sure, but I think she has. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
And I'm Luke Ski, the number 4th and number 9th most requested artist on the Dr. Demento show ever.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
I still watch porn, Ian.